Feingold. Hooray! Go me. It's February. There we go. It's February 17th, 2021. Wednesday night, we do viewer game analysis. Yay! If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch live at twitch.tv/GM Benjamin Feingold. I just finished a lecture that I did on Boris Spassky. Hopefully, some of you were there watching. And now I'm going to do this. So, Wednesdays, I prepare my lecture for whatever the lecture is. Then I get the games lined up from Discord in a queue on chess.com for the lecture tonight. Usually there's between 8 and 13 games, and like I'm all ready. And I always worry between me getting the games ready and moving the computer in the other room to tape the lecture and come back, that somehow the web page will go away and chess.com won't save it. It's never happened, but I worry about it. So I was telling Spencer and Karen how I worry about that today, and they're like, eh. And then when I came back, it was gone. The web page disappeared. So I had to do it again, put copy and paste. The problem is about half the people don't put the PGN right. So we could just not show your game, but that doesn't seem nice. It's much easier if it's a PGN and I just copy and paste. But you guys like say, I was white, and then you write some stuff, and then the game, and then some more stuff, and I have to figure out how to copy and paste it into chess.com so it looks okay. And then I have to put the names in later because you guys didn't put the PGN in right or know how. One thing you could do is look at how everybody else does it who does it right. When it's done right, it's a PGN format. It has like the names and the ratings and the event and the moves, and it's all one thing. But yeah, when you just start typing stuff and putting the game and typing more stuff and interspersing it, I have to delete all that stuff to put it in. And then it doesn't have the names in because you guys didn't put the names. You guys write in a paragraph like, yeah, I was rated about 1730 this game, and I had white, no. So anyway, the truth hurts. Basically, you guys are terrible. Okay. Yeah. But luckily, everything worked out because I just put the games in again, and I started the stream 10 minutes later than I normally would. Yeah. And so forth. Yeah. Bonarici, you can save any web page. That's what you think. Yeah. Don't ever use the word literally because you literally don't know how. You're my favorite boomer. I'm not a boomer. Learn what a boomer is. Try not to use words incorrectly. Try to look more intelligent if you can. Let's see. Commercials is good. I'm your favorite. That's correct. Trying to cheat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Good. Let's see. Greetings from Scotland. Hello. Let's see. How can one become a GM? Thanks for adding me. Hello. Let's see. Let's see. Time you out. I should just ban everybody, but I guess I'll just time people out. Let's see, I'll ban you. Let's see. Who can I ban? Let's see. I'm timed out. I think I'm going to spend this stream just banning and timing people out. That sounds more fun. I guess Kangaroo's not here. Dun, dun, dun. Fries. That's good. Fries is okay. Let's see. Yay, it's Pam. Let's see. Banned. Hi to England. Let's see. Your game is in the queue, Frosty. Yours is the last game. Yeah. All right. People getting banned. Okay, I have to refresh, I guess, and I can see how many viewers we have. All right. Yeah, these are my least favorite streams with the viewer game analysis because it takes a lot of work on my part, and you guys make it more work because you don't put the games in correctly, or you don't follow the rules, which is to put them in Tuesday or Wednesday. Just put them in all week, and then trying to learn deletes them, which I find funny. So when you don't follow the rules, it's actually funnier. All right. Also, the rule is you have to donate a lot, and none of you ever donate. Boo, boo. K-Dems gave a few centidues, unlike K-Dems who just gave a few centidues. Hooray. Let's see. Everybody's banned. Tuesday or Wednesday. Yay, 200 centidues from Farty Party. I can't read any of the chats that don't involve me banning you. Hello from Israel. Ban. Let's see. And you're banned. Okay. Hello to St. Louis. Moved back here in time for the snowstorm. You know, I moved to St. Louis in December 29th, 2009. That's when I drove in. That might have been the 28th. Thanks for the 400 centidues, Pinky Jim. 77. And I moved from Ann Arbor, and I was like, yay, it'll be warmer in St. Louis, because St. Louis is further south than Ann Arbor. And it was like the coldest winter they ever had ever. And when my furniture got there, like 10 days later, my furniture was freezing. Damn, it's cold furniture. Yeah, it was really cold that winter, the 2009-2010 winter. And truth hurts. All right, back to banning people. Go Staten Island. Hooray. I've been in Staten Island many times. Go Kings County or something. Air-conditioned furniture. Go Ann Arbor. Big money, no whammy. Stop. $3.99. I am in too good of shape. Somebody get me a shooter. Yeah. All right. So the first game is Farty Party. Let's see what he wrote. He wrote, decided to post a game I lost for a change. I picked this one. Change the line will make a good puzzle. I was white in this 15-minute game. I blundered a piece on move 18, so I threw everything in my opponent's king. I had a forced draw, but miscalculating thinking I had a mate because I missed my rook on f3 was pinned. Will be interesting in the chat who can spot the move that forces the draw. My resignation was perhaps premature. Yeah, we don't like premature resignations on this stream. I got tilted when I realized I had miscalculated. I didn't mean to play f4 on move 1. I'm an e4 player, but we transposed into a line I play in the Sicilian. Man, I'll never get that 90 seconds of my life back reading that. Yay. All right, now who can I ban? Not you, not you, not you. Come on, I want to ban everybody. I don't even know you and I want to ban you. Ninja versus Bear 96. Donated $22.22. Hooray. Why couldn't he be Ninja versus Bear 22 and donate $96.96? Boo. All right. Ban you. All right, let's see. You're getting banned. All right. And then let's see. Who else wants to get banned? I forgot who else wanted to get banned. Ban you. All right. Who else? I will oblige. Ban me, what else? You're banned. All right, who else? You're banned. Man, this is a bit busy over here. Too good to get banned? Okay. That's a banning. All right, who else wants to be banned? I'm going to ban him. So tomorrow, I'm not streaming because Karen and I are going to North Carolina again. So if you want the casino to stay open and not close down and support the local economy there, make sure you donate a lot. Yeah. Let's see. Why are you ban people? Because their English is terrible. Let's see. Do visit Daniel. It's 1 a.m. in the UK. That's correct. Yeah. All right. So let's look at this game that we just discussed. He says he meant to play e4, but he played f4 by mistake. 249 centitus. Hooray. Yeah. Let's see. How long are the bans? Forever. That's how long they are. All right, so we transposed. Knight c6 is okay. Bishop b5 is legal. All these moves are legal. There's no doubt about it. Now, normally, when they play bishop b5 in the Sicilian, we don't play e6 and g6. Although you can. Yeah, in fact, maybe you do. All right. I mean, maybe it's better than I said. Yeah. I wouldn't do it because now they could take this, and then I don't like that pawn structure so much. c3 is an odd move. It's not illegal, but it should be. All right. It's strange to play f4 and then play c3, d4. It's not bad. It's just very unusual. It was recommended in the chess book. She only wrote one chess book, Cyndi Lauper, and she said c3, d4 is so unusual. New Jersey 00479 subscribed to tier 2 for 3 months in advance. Man, now I can retire. That's pretty good. Yeah. The Spassky lecture was better than perfect. Yeah. You can't have a better lecture than that. Dun, 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 dun. Family. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And then, all right, so cd4, that's a good move. cd4, that's a good move. Queen b6, that's a good move. Knight c3 is probably forced. Knight takes pawn. All right, so it's a pawn sacrifice. And, yeah. This bishop's not very good. This rook's not very good. White has a lead in development. So white gets good compensation for a pawn. Takes, takes. Yeah, you could also take with the rook. I'd probably take with the queen. So I like queen takes. Queen d8, that's legal. Okay. The engine wants to play queen a5. And the reason is there's a timing issue here. And this is something that's very important if you want to improve your chess game. Some positions are just positions. And you make the best move you can find, and your opponent makes the best move they can find, and there's some evaluation. Other positions aren't like that. Other positions, one side is decidedly better, but it's because they have something very specific to do to be better. And if they don't do that specific thing, they're either equal or worse. And that's this position. White's better if white can show that he's better. If white's like, well, I'll play h3 and get some lift, and I'll put my rook on the open line, and, I'll play e5 and get a space advantage. Okay, then black's going to be up a pawn. But if white says, hey, I have everything developed, and I castled, and black hasn't developed these or castled. So if I go rawr, then I'll win. But if I do nothing, then I won't. So the problem with queen d8 is it puts no pressure on white. So white has time to give him the Fustavazu. And the engine says after f5, white's winning because here we come. Threatening f6 and opening up the black king and so forth, mainly and so forth. And instead, the engine wants to play queen a5 because that threatens bishop takes knight and the bishop is insufficiently defended. So after queen a5, white has to do something. White can't just be like, whatever. Or black could play bishop d4 here, threatening the bishop on e3, and once again, white has to do something. So after those moves, the engine says white's advantage is minimal, 0.3, 0.5, 0.6. But after queen d8, it says f5 is just winning. Here comes f6, here comes bishop g5, here comes knight d5 later if this pawn's gone. If you take twice, all the files are open, and it's too dangerous. Now, f5 is difficult to calculate, so if you can't calculate it, that's fine. You have to play it because it's the right thing to do to open the position to attack your opponent's king when you have a big lead in development. So here the sacrifice suggests itself because black has no development, black hasn't castled, this bishop isn't getting out anytime soon, and we want to open the center to get at black's king. Instead, white played e5, which is okay, but it gives this knight some squares. And it makes this bishop on e3 rather shallow and pedantic. f5 lets the bishop run free. So now the engine says it's equal. It says white has just enough compensation for a pawn, but white's not like overrunning black. Okay, castles is good. Rook a d1 is fine. Knife f5, always play knife f5. Now the engine doesn't like knight f5 because bishop c5 is annoying. So it actually doesn't like that move. That was played. Rook e8. And then knight e4 is fine. The engine actually prefers g4. It wants to continue. g4, f5, etc. Okay, but I still like white here with the knight on e4. He kicks the bishop. Queen a3. There's a move I would never consider. I didn't say it was bad. I said I was bad. Thirsty Monster is reading with 62. Hooray! I hope I'm not dyslexic because 62 is a big number for Thirsty Monster. Okay, Thirsty Monster is rating you because your IQ is 62. Oh no, that is not what it says. Hooray! Recommended by Matt Larson. That's right. Go Thirsty Monster, but stay there. All right, so Queen a3, very interesting move. b6, I agree. Bishop c6 is a funny move because the d-pawn's pinned, but I'm too old for that. So bishop d6, I'm not too old for that. And now the engine doesn't like your position after bishop d6 because bishop b7 threatens the knight and defends the rook and attacks the bishop. So this is why queen a3 is a suspicious move because you got to watch your bishop for the rest of the game. Okay, bishop b7 was played. And you played bishop e2, sacrificing a piece, not blundering a piece. Obviously, you should have played bishop to d3. Now, thanks, Twitchy, for the sub. Here's something a lot of people have a lot of trouble with. I'm serious. It's a very simple question, and most people get the answer wrong. I'm not sure why most people get the answer wrong. If you had a choice of losing a piece, that's your first choice, or losing the exchange, losing a rook for a minor piece. In just typical random positions, that's easy, but most people I talk to give the wrong answer. I'm not sure why they give the wrong answer, especially since I say always sacrifice the exchange. Go Thirsty Monster. He's the best. Yeah. Right. Yeah, losing the exchange isn't even necessarily bad. You're trading one piece for another, and sometimes the minor piece is better than the rook in that particular position. Usually not, but sometimes. And then when you lose a piece, you lose a piece. So, I mean, that's no good. So, if white played bishop d3, then knight e3 would fork the rooks, but white would just lose the exchange. And what white did wrong this game is, in this position, this is defended, 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 and nothing's attacked. That's good. Potassium benzoate, that's bad. So after A6, one of our pieces is attacked, and you should move it away. However, the psychology of the extremely low-rated chess player, Farty Party in this instance, is to not move don't move those pieces away. It shows weakness, right? So instead, we'll make some tricky move showing how great we are. Now, the problem with Queen A3 is this bishop is still under pressure, right? David Bowie and, what's his name? Freddie Mercury style. Damn. And after B6, two pieces are under pressure, and the knight's not defended anymore, which it was defended when the white queen is on F3. So when your pieces aren't defended and they're attacked and they're all over the place, you have a lot of work to do and a lot of accurate calculation, not your strong suit. Okay? Your strong suit, for most of you, is blundering and mouse slipping. Okay? You guys blunder more than I do, and you mouse slip more than I do. But, well, maybe I mouse slip more. But you can't have all your pieces not defended and hanging. So when somebody attacks one of your pieces, move it away. And here, he saw this was attacked, but didn't see this was, which is weird. Okay. And here, white resigned, and the game ended. No, I'm just kidding. Probably white was better later. Let's see. My mouse slipped, etc. Scribbles furiously. That's right. Quit twice like a savage. Either way is good. Yeah. Why not show game report? You're banned and your children's children. Okay. Bishop F3. And the game now has become silly because white's just down a piece for nothing. So there's nothing else to look at. But white claims he was drawing later. So let's see what blunder was made by the opponent. Now, B4 doesn't make a lot of sense. Now it completely wins and there's nothing wrong with it. Now I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. In chess, there are things you should do and there are things you shouldn't do. Then there are things that are neither here nor there, or neither. Doesn't matter. And attacking an opponent's piece is neither good nor bad. It's just something you do. So instead of doing that, you want to do things that are good. Things that are good, checkmating your opponent. Other things that are good, taking free pieces. In this position, black can do neither or neither. Bad move, Ben subscribed. Bad move, Ben. Baddest move in the whole damn chess.com. Better than any PogChamp, except the ones that are playing in PogChamps. Okay, so here it's clear to even the most dim-witted individual that you should play rook a c8. There's an open file. Your rook's in the corner. That rook's better on c8. That's where the rook goes. It doesn't go here. B4 attacks the queen moves away. So if you keep making random moves like that don't improve your position, you may later get in trouble. Okay, queen d3. They took a pawn. Great. F5. Trying is the first step to failure. E takes F5. Good. G takes F5. Good. Every move is better than perfect. Okay, now, once again, black played a move that has it's not to reason why, it's but to do and die, shattered and sundered. If black was here and I said, why did you play that move? He would go, I don't know, it was my turn. So again, we could play queen c6 or queen b7 with black, pinning the rook on f3. That would be good. The engine likes g5, which stops this diagonal in this file from getting open. I'm not a fan of that move, but all right. He played bishop c3. Okay, it still wins. You're up a piece for nothing. F takes g6. Now it's getting scary. H takes g6 is fine. Okay. Queen d5 is fine. Threatening, stuff. Okay. Now, he played... Now, this is attacked. Okay? And just like you have to defend it. Okay? So if I was black, I would play rook f8 because that defends it. I would want to play rook e6. I'd want to, but my rook on a8 is hanging then. So I can't do that. Rook f8's winning, and other moves win too. Black played queen c6, triple question mark. Okay, not defending f7. Frankly, terrible. Now it's a draw, and this is the position Farty Party wanted you to analyze. In this position, there's one move that draws for white. Otherwise, white's completely lost. There's one move that draws. Can you find the drawing move without cheating? Obviously not. So we'll see who can cheat the fastest and answer in the chat. Anyone? Anybody? Rook d5 is correct. One of the moves suggested is illegal because you'd be in check. So the point of rook d5 is now you could play rook h3 mate if it was your move. So rook d5 unpins the rook, and then he's threatening rook h3 checkmate. Now the game should end in a draw various ways. One of the ways is to play rook check forever. The other is to play rook e5. And now if you play rook here, I play rook h5, and this rook is pinned again, so white could just perpetual here. Anyway, rook d5 draws, and maybe black would lose. Maybe black would miss rook h3 mate. So rook d5 would give white good winning chances. Black would have to defend accurately. Instead, he didn't unpin his rook, and he played rook g1. He wanted to play, rook g6 and, get some mating attack going. And many moves win here. The easiest is rook f8. That wins immediately. Rook e3 wins immediately because this rook is pinned. And he played rook e1. He figured, this rook is pinned. Let's trade this rook, and I won't have any more issues. And he ended up resigning. Now, he shouldn't resign, as he said, because queen f6 check, which heretofore was not possible, is now possible. We take the rook, and now the bishop's no longer on c3, so black sort of PO'd, okay? And he's controlling d2, so there's no r2, d2. Now we check, and black has to walk up the board to win, and black is winning, but, his king's running around, so, get some checks in. You can check here. You shouldn't resign. You got some checks, If you're playing an engine, the engine's going to win, but a human, you can call me human. Easier would be rook f8 or rook e3. Those would be easier ways to win. So that game was too complicated, and both sides had chances. But there's too many blunders. People just like, here's a piece. I didn't see my piece was hanging. And in this position, after bishop b7, the reason white didn't see his knight was hanging is because white saw his bishop was hanging. Once white saw that a takes b5 was now possible, that's the only thing he thought of. And he shouldn't have had his bishop hanging in the first place. He should have retreated it when a6 was played in the first place. Frankly, terrible. Now, even if he played the correct bishop d3, he still has a losing position after knight e3, but it's less losing. Yeah. So basically, what we learned from that game, because Farty Party lost and made some mistakes, is he doesn't donate enough. With Thaddeus donates a lot, and he comes great in the Arena Kings. He beat me a week ago. So that's just what it proves. So if Farty Party ever wants to get to 2,000 and beyond, he's got to donate more. And that's why She Jesus has been seeded into the candidates tournament, which is weird. And Radjabov's going to play. They took the people who are in now, the 8 players, and they're adding in Radjabov and She Jesus. And when they asked, why are you putting She Jesus in? It's because of the huge donations. Yeah. 833 viewers a do. Hooray. Yeah. I mean, it's lies, but they're entertaining lies. And in the end, isn't that the real truth? The answer is no. It's Farty Party. No, 500. If he wants to get to 2,000. JA734 subscribe with Prime. Hooray. Turn water into rating. That is correct. How come I still suck? No. Pam thinks she hasn't donated enough. Maybe. Thoughts on the Gurgadinza system? Never heard of it. Stop making stuff up. Okay, next. You're so next. Okay, the guy who donated, this is his game. Now, the good news is he donated this, or he subscribed. The bad news is this game is 91 moves. Boo, boo. I am so great. SMRT. Wait, that's the wrong joke. Drainer365 gave 100 centidues. Did we not have a train yet, or the train died so quickly I forgot about it? That's much more likely. 9. D1. That's right. Is 91 prime, or does 7 go into it? 70 and 21? Yeah. Can't believe 91's not prime. Terrible. Ridiculous. 7 times 13. Ridiculous. Carol Khan. Accuracy. Too many moves. Why are we calling 911? Because it's a joke. I dialed 911 a long time ago. They only come, and they come when they wanna. 911 is a joke. That was off the famous album Fear of the Black Pieces. Yeah. Although White won this game, so I don't know. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's do it to it. 1,700 versus 1,700. Knight A6. Boo. Boo. Knight A6. So what happened? E4 resigns? Yeah. E4, 1091. Did you like your analysis? No? All right. Yeah, black should have played D5 with some central kind of stuff. It looks like he's playing a pet line, but I think he should leave it to his pet. Pet needs some chess lessons. Is A6 never a good move? Never. Go Italy, but stay there. Capablanca's book. You need to go to Casablanca and go to Rick's Cafe, and then you'll play chess better. This other stuff, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, D6, that's legal. Bishop E2 is legal. These moves are all legal. There's no doubt about it. Bishop H4 is legal. Queen A5 is barely legal. Queen C. See, Queen C2 allows Knight B4 with tempo. So I probably wouldn't play Queen C2. If I was going to defend my E-pawn with my queen, I would play Queen B1. Following my rule, always play Queen B1 as long as you misheard it. Then if I'm like, why'd you play Queen B1? You can say, always play Queen B1. And I'll say, what? It's King B1. You'll say, oh, I misheard. See? Queen C2, though, now, the knight's coming in here. Terrible. Okay, E5, not punishing you. Now you could definitely ruin his pawn structure if you want. Yeah, you never want to do that. You got to take this and ruin the pawn structure. It's ruined. Yeah, and if you're not going to do that, play Knight F3. This pawn trade just helps black. It lets his bishop out. It gets rid of your center pawn. It gets rid of his backward D pawn. Frankly, not so good. Now you got rid of his knight. Good, good. Knight F3 is legal. There's no doubt about it that these moves are legal. Rook d1's not a move I would have played, but it's legal. Yeah, you definitely want a castle here because black wants to play bishop here and destroy your pawn structure. It looks like you tried to stop him from castling queenside. Oh, castling queenside is shallow and pedantic. All right, rook d8's terrible. Should definitely play here, and then you can ruin your pawn structure just like you ruined his. Sort of like you're ruining my stream. All right, castles is good. Yay. Now white is clearly slightly better. Very slightly. Yeah. Frankly ridiculous. That's right. Robert E. 630 subscribed. The South shall come again. Yeah. All right, bishop e7. I take you, you take me. I think white should play a3. a3, b4 seems annoying. d1's okay. Rook g8, oh my god. You're going to keep your king on e8? Frankly terrible. What would Frank Lee say about this? Vitonchio subscribed. I mean, now you're playing like me. That can't be good. All right, so white's doing well. White has a better pawn structure. White's king is safer. White has the open D line. This H pawn is very weak, etc. White put it in H. Interesting idea. Rook G5 is an idea. A3 I like. Bishop B6 I like. Trapping his own queen. Queen D3, I like that. Bishop D4, I like that. Queen F3, I barely understand. I would play knight F3 because it attacks the rook and the bishop. Like this is some kind of fork that even I understand. Queen F3 is okay. Farty Party gifted 2 subs. Hooray! Hooray for Farty Party. The more you donate, the more donations there are. Queen F3 doesn't lose, so that's one good sign. King E7, defending the F pawn. Could have taken this first to mess up the pawns. Now white can play B4 and not get his pawns messed up. After B4, if queen takes A3, knight D5 check, discovered attacks the queen. Let's see if that happened. Yay, he didn't blunder his queen. Good. He put it in H. Gadakomsky recommended. Gadakomsky, he would have played king H1 the last 70 moves, and the game's only on move 20. That's how good he is. Yeah. 50 moves before the game started, Gada plays king H1, putting it in H. That gets his king off the diagonal, and the file, and the etc. Very good. Bishop G4, that's barely legal. Now the problem with Bishop G4, again, Bishop G4 looks like the kind of move you play because it attacks the queen and the queen is shiny. But you don't want to trade white squared bishops if you have the black pieces here because then white's going to play knight F5. We need that bishop to take that white knight if it ever goes to F5. So Bishop G4 is a shallow and pedantic move. And hopefully for black's sake, he didn't trade those bishops. Well, he trapped his bishop. That's also bad. Okay, now white has several forced wins because this bishop isn't sufficiently defended, so we have F4 ideas that win. F3 wins. I mean, never play F3. That's what I meant. And now you can just say F3 was a typo and now play F4 and you're winning. After F4, you're attacking the rook because I said so. And if the rook moves away, you have F5 trapping the bishop. If he takes on F4, after F4, the bishop on D4 is insufficiently protected. The queen on D7 is boxing in the bishop. So here white's winning immediately by just playing F4, F5. And he did play F4. Hooray! Not proving his rating. Trying to learn 1, 2, 3, 4. Subscribed at tier 2. Hooray! Not as good as trying to cheat, but he's trying. Can you do both? Terrible. Hooray! I don't review games. You're imagining this. Now, this game's over, and we're on move 24, but somehow they got to move 91. Very suspicious. If two super GMs were playing, they'd hit the bar by now. Rook G4, giving it all away for a little more. See, that's good. Black sacrificed the exchange instead of losing a piece. Exactly. All right. Good. Every move wins. He played one of the moves that wins. King D8's legal. Rook F1's legal. And this is just a matter of technique. That's what she said. Yeah, this is just knight E4 resigns. And that move wins too, but it gives black some space. So the pawn on F6 is the kind of move you play because you have a bad position. You're playing for tricks. This is a positional mistake because you're letting the queen out and, more importantly, letting the knight go here. If I played knight E4 against Magnus, he would resign, and then he would be like, why did I play so bad with black? I'm Magnus. And then he would wake up and I would apologize. After knight E4, the black has no legal moves. The pawn on F5 is great for crushing these two pieces. This is a good move if you can cheat and mate your opponent. But this is a good move and you don't have to cheat. Black just has no legal moves. Terrible position. After here, the knight gets to a good square, and now you have to win in 90 moves. Before that, the knight was shallow and pedantic. It couldn't do Vishwa nothing. Terrible. Salty Pirate 10 subscribed to Tier 1. Hooray! Go me. All right. The game continued. F6. Never play F6. Queen G4. The first active move black's play. Put it in H. Knight E4 with tempo. Queen G6, saving the queen. Knight C5. Good. B6. That's terrible. Okay, now the game's over, and I'm guessing white blundered with queen takes queen, which wins, but the game's over. And I'm guessing he blundered with queen takes queen. Let's see if I'm right. Yep. All right. So if we do a perfunctory calculation, when you take the queen on G6 and your opponent recaptures, he has the F7 square for his king. However, if you play knight D7 check now, he does not have the F7 square for his king because his pawn's on F7. So a very easy win would be knight check, the king goes to either square, doesn't matter. We take the queen, and then F7 check, and then you can go get Papa John's. Now maybe you didn't want Papa John's, that would explain why you didn't play knight D7 check. Now you're going to make a queen. And that's just a calculation you have to do because you can trade queens or play knight D7. Those are the two moves you calculate. Now, there's a much more sinister, terrible, frankly, problem that you have here. Okay? If you're my student, and obviously you're not, my rule is never trade. So you would never play knight C5 with white and then trade queens. You wouldn't want to do that. The second rule is in regards to trading queens. Who wants to trade queens? The answer is the person whose king is in trouble. If your king is in trouble, you don't want queens on the board because the queen's going to put your king in more trouble. Okay? If the white queen gets to infiltrate, that's it. We're going to lose the knight or get mated or both. This king is extra safe because you played the Gadakomsky-esque king h1. Now, the reason you wanted to trade queens is you've been lied to your whole life by other coaches or books or your friends or your mom or your priest or your rabbi. They've all been lying to you. About chess? Probably not, but about everything else. But they're lying to you about chess also. In chess, bad teachers tell you to trade when you're ahead. Okay? And that's why they teach chess, instead of play at the top levels, right? At the top levels, you trade bad pieces for good pieces. In this position, white wants to get his queen infiltrating and penetrating. It's not even date night, but you still want to do it. Thanks, Bacardi shots. Okay, so knight c5 is the wrong idea. That's not what you want to do. Okay, and then here, you were so happy you could trade queens, right? You were so happy it was a good thing your keyboard was non-stick. That's how happy you were. Frankly, terrible. Okay, but if you had calmed yourself down, right, had some water, right, maybe take a shower, you would have found knight d7, queen takes, f7, and then maybe you would have got lucky that night. Probably not. Okay. So instead you were like, yay, I can trade queens. And that's still winning, but knight d7 check is winning. Knight d7 check, queen takes queen is resigns. Then you queen your f-pawn. Now you have to win the game again. Now you have to have good technique, not your specialty. Okay? Then you certainly won't get lucky if you don't have good technique. All right, knight e6, and the game just goes on forever with white being up in exchange. And the game never ends because it's, like takes 1,000 moves to win these positions. And probably you're always winning unless you weren't. I'll be the judge of that. So far, you're always winning. Yeah, you're the winningest. Wow, f7, that's a big decision. It turns out it's the right decision because you have a winning trick. Now, I'm very confused. If you played your winning trick, there's no way you'd win in 91 moves. You would win in 60 moves. So I want to see if you played the winning trick. You did play the winning trick. This went to move 91? How'd this go to move 91? This is move 49. What's happening? What's happening now? Technique is good too. Yeah. All right, now in this position, the bishop is trapped. So you want to play like this. Although he's going to play a5, then you're going to queen your a-pawn. But okay, it doesn't matter. And here you played rook b7 instead of taking this pawn. It doesn't matter. And then you played rook a7 instead of taking on b5. All right. Moves are strange, but all right. Explains why it took 91 moves, I guess. Also, there was the not resigning. This is the game that doesn't end. It just goes on and on, my friend. Hooray, checkmate. That's pretty good technique when you had rook and knight against a bishop. Yeah. So that game, you found this nice trick with f7 and take everything and so forth, mainly and so forth. And you won pretty handily, I thought. Pretty handily. It seems like you're the better player. You are the better player. You're 70 points higher rated. So basically, your only mistake was not winning the game more easily. The problem is, if you have completely winning positions where the engine says +8, +20, +30, and you make a bad move and you're +3, so you're still winning, it's much more likely you'll mess that up than when you're +30. So you want to have some, you want to put them away when you can, because otherwise your son might come over and drink your beer. Oh, wait, that's a different story. Yeah. Didn't black have bishop takes e5? Bishop takes e5 was a legal move. That is correct. There's no doubt about it. After bishop e5, I would take. And then after bishop e5, I would take with the rook, which you obviously missed. And so forth. Yeah. Yeah, bishop e5, rook takes bishop. The truth hurts. Yeah. Could you go back to move 46 and look at rook takes? Okay. Takes. Yeah, it's the same thing. You do this, right? Yeah. It's what you did, but it's a more accurate way of doing it, I guess. I don't know. They're both plus 1,000. Yeah, rook takes wins, then f7 and f8. Yeah. It's the same. And you could also play here, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's the same trick. And in fact, when you played here, you could have played rook takes instead of queening. And then you could have played knight e6 or queen. Yeah, it's all the same trick. It's all a rich tapestry. Yeah. If you play rook takes, he can't not take it. He has to take it. Has to play king here, right? So you'll get like a better version of what you did. But it doesn't matter because what you did was completely winning, and this is completely winning. It's all the same trick. It all wins. You're the greatest. Robert E. 630, 500 centidues. Hooray. Yeah, white did play knight e6 and take the bishop. Yeah. And if you don't do these things, you're still winning. If you just play random legal moves, you're up exchange and a pawn and trash talking. But yeah, this is a nice, these are just nice tricks that win. It's not better than what you did, it's just different. I own nothing. I did get a car wash today, though. But I had to take the dogs to the kennel, so I got a car wash because they're the dogs. The guy at the car wash, the manager, he said, "This car is as clean as the day you bought it." And I said, "I know it." Yeah, he asked me where'd my really big car go. And I said, "The phone in my limousine is busted, so I can't get in touch with my bitches." That was the problem. So I had to drive the other car. Yeah. What is you, ignorant? All right, good Trading Places reference. You want to be friends. You want to be friends. You want to be enemies. All right. Why do I wash my car so much? So it's clean. Bam. Robert E. 630, 500 centidues. Yeah. No, they know me at the car wash. At the car wash. Da-da-da-da-da. Car wash, yeah. Eddie Murphy Classic is correct. Yeah, always at the car wash. Friend request? No. Da-da-da. Is it better to wash the car at the car wash? Yes. Yeah, if you use hose water on the inside of your car, not good. They clean the inside and the outside of my car. I get the Grandmaster Special. And then some. And they do it with a smile. Da-da, da-da. What kind of dogs? Big and scary. All right, next. Next. All right, this is Jesus, not to be confused with She Jesus. Because some people get that confused. This is a 10-minute game. This is a game I played as white against the third strongest British player alive, 1500 in parenthetical. I sacrificed a piece to attack, but I couldn't find the correct follow-up and ended up in a losing position until I won. Both players earned their rating and proved in many occasions that they weren't cheating. Thank you in advance for the analysis. The only reason I help Jesus is because then he can help himself. Let's see. Car wash. Let's see. In Philadelphia, $50. That's right. Who is She Jesus? Terrible. How does he not know the teachings of See Jesus? Terrible. See Jesus taught us many times about the story of the 50 subs. Many times, She Jesus would teach us that. No. See, like in the Bible, they're always talking about bread. She Jesus, she don't do bread, does subs. So there is bread, but there's a lot more. Etc. Mainly, etc. The parable of the 50 subs. Frankly, Delicious. Yeah. All right, Ghost is real, understands everything, except for one thing. All right. Let's look at this game with Jesus. D5. Okay, so far so good. It's the John Bartholomew defense. This is the old move. People are playing here and here now for some reason. I guess they like losing. My dad used to play the Scandinavian. He would call it the center counter, and he would play Queen A5. This is how he played with black. Yeah, E6 is just a mistake. Your bishop has two good squares, and sometimes you want to preface it with C6, so you defend the B5 square, and it gives your queen an escape route if your queen wants to back it up. Back that ass up. So, yeah, E6. Whoa, what happened? Oh my God. If it got rid of all the games, that would be the worst thing that ever happened in my life. Okay, they're back. Wow, that was horrible. 200 centimeters. Thanks, Grungewart. That was almost the worst thing that's ever happened in Christendom. Wait, did it get rid of the game I was looking at? But it kept all the other games? Oh, no, there it is. That was weird. Okay. So E6 blocks the bishop. That's bad. It's like potassium benzoate. Yeah, now black's playing a French defense where after E takes D, it's like queen takes and queen here. What? Come on. Yeah, so this is very bad because now after bishop D2, the queen could get in trouble. And the bishop can't get out. So E6 is a very poor way to play the Scandinavian. You can't afford to play a bad opening and then play it badly. So that's why white won the game. Okay, let's look at the next game. I found you today. Yeah, I am pretty good. Is my game one of them? Probably. Yeah. What would you play if playing the Scandinavian Queen D6? That wouldn't happen to me. Yeah. Okay. So bishop D2. C6 is, you gotta get that queen out of there. Knight E4 is good. Good. Right, now here, you should definitely take this because queen takes to get your queen in trouble. Bishop D5, bishop E3, then you would force G takes F6. This is still good for white because basically black has done this. And the bishop on C8 is terrible. This is a really bad French. Like, I could get this position in the French if I lost a lot of tempi and played badly. So let me show you what I mean. Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. All right, let's say I play here, which is ridiculous. Then I play here, which is terrible. Then I play here, which is terrible. And then I play here. And voilà, la défense française. Mwah! Formidable. I mean, that's what happened. Frankly, ridiculous. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. Okay, now here, luckily, bam. I just changed the position. It was white's move in that position, the one where I played as bad as I could with black. This one, it's black's move, but it's still bad. And he should feel bad. Okay, now, black's play is so inaccurate and passive that the next PogChamps 4, he's in, even if he's not famous, just because of the way he plays. Moves his queen around a lot, loses, doesn't know what's going on, confused, the chat's going to be scrolling. Perfect for PogChamps 4. Better than perfect. I mean, next to him, perfection's crap. Yeah. And so on. Yeah. Truth hurts. Okay. Bishop E7. The only thing worse than the PogChamps players is the chat, which is a billion times worse. I think the worst thing that ever happened in the history of human beings is the chat on these streams. What world am I in? Oh, terrible. If my stream ever gets like 30, 40,000 viewers, which it won't, but if it does, and the chat looks like that, everybody's banned. It's just banned. There won't be anybody chatting. It's going to be banned. Okay, it'll be Spencer, Karen, and Archer will chat. And I'll probably ban one of them. Horrible. Yeah. That's the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of the earth is the chat on those streams. I've never been so mad. I'm always a little mad. Yeah. Terrible. Oh yeah, Kangaroo, trying to learn, Karen and me. It'll be Ban City. Yeah. I'll ban a lot of people by mistake, but it'll still be the best thing I ever did. Yeah. Now in this chat, which is obviously ridiculous, you guys sometimes, not very often, talk about chess. Not very often. Sometimes. Not very often. Yeah. She, Jesus, will ban everybody for me. It'll be a miracle. It'll be great. Okay. So castles, that's okay. Castles, knight takes f6 is okay. Yeah, and this is just like a normal position where white's like 3 tempi ahead of what he should be. Yeah. I mean, there's so many tempi that white's position is going to rise like a phoenix. It's cold in Arizona. Yeah. Okay, back to whatever it is I was doing. Put it in H. Okay, that's taking things too far, or maybe it's not taking things too far enough. That's unnecessary, but all right. Got to play aggressive. Bishop takes d4. That's pretty dangerous. Knight g5. Could also just take and then play queen h5, and you have the 2 bishops and the attack. Also, the engine says bishop takes wins. The Greek gift. The engine actually plays king h8, which is ridiculous. Yeah, it says white's winning here. Yeah, obviously king g8, queen here is winning. You have to play king g6. Frankly, delicious. And it says queen f3 wins, c3 wins, queen g4 wins, etc. Okay, it's not surprising that white's winning here. Knight g5 is also very aggressive, but doesn't quite work. Yeah, h6 is better than g6. g6 is too weakening. After h6, the engine says it's equal. Now after g6, now h4 makes a lot of sense. He could play h5. And then he's threatening knight h7 and hg and all his wells because he played hg. It's like I've fallen into a time machine. All right. Put it in H. Exactly. Yeah, most of you didn't get it. Okay. Now, it looks like with Black's passive play, he's going to lose 20,000 rating points under... Okay. Now, there's that Jules Verne. All right, knight f3... I mean, a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, but knight f3 is ridiculous. Your knight was great on g5. Why'd you move it away? Terrible. I've never been so angry. Might as well take this pawn now, be 2 pawns up. But he retreated. Everybody retreats. He put it in H. Bishop g7, that's fine. Queen d2 is legal. Good. Knight d7 is legal. Takes. I mean, now it's like equal. White has compensation for a pawn. Put it in H. Good. Knight f6. Very suspicious. Queen f6 is safer. Got to defend those dark squares. Yeah, hg isn't good because you open the h file for black. Yeah, better is h6. Put the rooks in the center. Put the queen here. Bishop's no good. Pawn's annoying. Not a lot of activity. You really want to play queen here and get this going. FG is just awful. You got to take with the H pawn, keep your pawn structure intact, then you can play rook H8 and seize the initiative, or the defensive, whichever is funnier. FG just makes this pawn weak, terrible. Now white's better again. Yeah, excellent play by white. Rook e5 is all right. I've seen worse moves than rook e5. Not many. Rook g5 is good. Look at that initiative. Queen f7. Come on, I just ate. Okay, obviously, queen f7 runs into knight e5. Oh, my God. No. Boo, boo. Queen f7's bad, and you should feel bad. Yeah, here, there's no threat, but you can't play queen here and let knight e5 win. Walk it into knight e5. He's walking into knight e5. Whoa. Now, let me tell you how bad his position is. Okay, this is not a joke. The engine's first few moves are giving the queen away. Bishop c8, knight d5. Because if you move the queen, you're going to get checked and mated. God damn. And he did. And then knight f3, draw, agreed. Always repeat. No. Okay, now this position was seen before in the game Giri versus insert random GM here, and Giri played knight f3, and they drew. Yeah, and after the game, somebody showed taking on g6 was winning, and Giri said, well, yeah, but that wins. I'm trying to draw here. So you could see his argument made sense. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so bishop takes g6 is crushing even more than knight takes g6. So, of course, he played knight takes g6, which also gives white an advantage. But the knight is so good on e5. Take with the bishop, you unleash the latent potential of the queen and rook on the d file. And your knight on e5 is better than perfect. Next to perfection, oh, wait, that knight, wait a minute. Perfection's crap next to that knight. Where are your lines, Ben? Oh, terrible. Yeah. Okay, so knight g6, not as good. Still winning. Bishop g6, good, good. Rook d8. Now, the engine's number 1 and 2 moves nobody would play. Like rook g3 and queen f4. I'm not playing those moves. Queen f4, there you go. Now, rook h8 is equal, but nobody's playing rook h8. Nobody's playing that move, but the engine likes it. e5, that's what I'm playing. That loses immediately. Good, good. Rook takes e5. Not a bad move. Now, queen takes e5 is forced. The engine actually doesn't like rook takes e5 because queen takes e5 hangs on. So queen h4 and moving the bishop would discover check win more quickly. Knight d5 is ridiculous. Hangs the queen with check. What? So he has to play queen takes rook, queen takes queen, king takes bishop, and black has a rook, bishop, and knight for queen and 2 pawns. The king is exposed, so the engine still prefers white. But knight d5 that's just a blunder. Yeah. Now everything wins. Queen e5 check is the easiest. Every move wins. Queen e5 is the easiest win. I mean, queen e5 is just a simple fork. Right? Obviously, the next move, black wants to take the bishop, so this move just lets him take the bishop. But queen e5 check, you can't save the knight. So queen e5 check plus 20. Also winning is queen g5 and then rook d6. It's the same as queen g3, except you're stopping rook f6. So in the game, yeah, also bishop f5, yeah. So if white plays queen g5 instead of queen g3, now you can't move the bishop as black did in the game because the rook is attacked too many times, and you can't play rook f6 because that's attacked too many times, so you have to resign. So queen g5 was winning with the same idea of queen g3. Queen e5 is the easiest, and now the game goes on. White's winning, but it's close. The best move is queen c7, which actually, I guess, wins a piece. But he played here, and after bishop f5, white's not even winning anymore. White has to win the game again. Now, the problem with low-rated players is they have a lot of trouble getting their pieces coordinated. So when you have a situation like a queen for 3 pieces, let's take a typical bad player. Wesley So. When Wesley So had 3 pieces for a queen against Duda, he hung one of his pieces, right? And the thing was, Wesley didn't suspect anything. He thought his opponent was like, la da 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 dee da da, Duda, Duda. So he was like, all right. He was like, relax, and then he blundered a piece and lost. Okay, and then he got even. He got mad. And you won't like Wesley when he's mad, right? Because if you thought Jesus was great, wait till Wesley gets Jesus on his side. Then, and only then, okay, etc. Yeah. It's all true. Everything I said was true, even the stuff that wasn't. Okay, so he took Queen G5, forking these 2 pieces. I wish there was a way out. Oh no. All right, that sort of works too. Bishop takes C2, put it in F. Okay, now black has a big advantage with Rook D5. Played Rook F1, that's also good. King G3 is suspicious. King F7 is weird, but all right, fine. King E6 is legal. And that's very similar to the move that Wesley played against Duda. Because Duda played Queen A2 check, attacking the king on the A file, and it was a backwards diagonal move. It was the same as this. So King E6, several question marks. It's not a good move, but he does earn his rating. Yeah, King E6 really bad. Queen E2, forking everything. The king, the bishop, and the rook, and somehow the knight. I don't know how, but somehow. Yeah. Okay, and at this point, black got a text from Jim Nabors, which is unlikely since Jim Nabors isn't alive. And Jim Nabors texted, black, you should resign, resign, resign. And resign he did. Terrible. King E6, letting all of his pieces get forked. So that game was an up and down game, what you would expect, and, black had a good position because white helped him, but after King E6, white looked at black and said, Jesus only helps those who help themselves. Queen E2 check, 1-0. I mean, white was winning. He messed it up. But, I mean, it was like he was walking on water there. I'm walking on water, whoa, etc. Yeah. Yeah, Nabors is Nabors. Yeah. Go, Jim Nabors. Yeah. Duh. Exactly. That guy's the bomb. Man. Yeah, now, the F-bomb that's in the chat, he hasn't been in the chat for a while because he went to the airport and they arrested him because he was the bomb. But he got out eventually. Can you do my game now? Now you're banned because you didn't follow the protocol. Whenever anybody in the chat says, can you look at my game? They're banned. They're children. I'm not only banning you and your children, I'm banning the actual Obama and his children. Okay? And the only time Obama's children can come on my stream is when it's 420 because, but otherwise they can't come on. You're all banned. Exactly. Go Laszlo Damas. Billy Cole 93. He gave 257. You promised me 257 a week. Go Laszlo Damas. Let somebody think of the children. Bob blah blah 785. It's like Boblo Island. Hooray! Gotta be from Detroit to have heard of that. The only way to get better at chess that's proven is to donate a lot to my stream. There is no other way that can guarantee you get better. Fen Bingle, 200 centidues. Yay. The mother of all pins. Yeah, just put the game in the chat, Fen, and we'll look at it in a couple games. 239, and I'm feeling fine. How many beans in an Irish stew? 0. 239, that's Homer Simpson's weight. Very good. That's right. Carlson, you never heard of Carlson. Then he donated, world champion. Pinky Jim 77, 100 centidues. Then Any Blue Sky, 200 centidues. Mm-hmm. There's a scene in the movie Easy Money. Thanks, Farty Party, for the 2 subs. In the movie Easy Money, Rodney has to give up drugs and alcohol and philandering and lose weight. So when that then he gets like millions of dollars. So then when it starts, he's taking like the garbage out with his daughter, and he has to throw all the drugs in the house out. So he's out there, and then he's got his next door neighbor who just moved in. And his neighbor's like, hey, you're my neighbor, and so forth. And he says, here. And he gives him like a marijuana joint. And a marijuana joint? What am I, a priest? Anyway, then Rodney's like, my daughter's right here. And she's like 9 or something. And he says, oh, if you have a connection in the family, fine. Sorry about that. And then she makes him throw that out too. So, yeah. That movie has a very good last line. Easy Money. At the end of the movie, you find out that Rodney's mother-in-law isn't dead. And he pretends that he's being a good boy and he's eating right and no drugs and no alcohol. And at the end of the movie, he goes down in the basement and he's playing poker and smoking and eating pizza and drinking with his friends. And he says, my mother-in-law, for years I wouldn't kiss her face. I end up kissing her ass. Then they all laugh and the movie ends. Too complicated for you guys. Yeah. All right. Exactly. Yeah. Watching a porn. You don't say you're watching a porn. You say a porno or porn. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Then the choir boys like nod. Great Family Guy scene. Sedlak 4777. Yeah. Gave 100 centidues. Margmitch 9. Gave 100 centidues. Anonymous Cheer gave 1 centidue. Pretty anonymous. Pretty good. Good. Go Spencer. Go a Spencer. Did Spencer say anything? I didn't see him say anything. Exclaim Spencer. Oh, he's not even here. Yeah. Hooray. What film? Easy Money was the film I was talking about. Easy Money stars Joe Pesci as a plumber installing toilets. Very suspicious. Yeah. He's leaving on the hype train, Georgia. Leaving on the hype train, Georgia. He'd rather live in my stream than live without me in his own. 200 centidues from Grungewart. Robert E630 gave 9 centidues. Or maybe it's 8. I guess it's 8. Boo. She, Jesus, helps those that help themselves. Hooray. Where's the Perrier? Well, that's a good question. There was no Perrier in the fridge, so if Spencer put some in the fridge or Karen did, when I was lecturing on Spassky, there's going to be cold Perrier. If neither one of them did, all the Perrier is outside the fridge, and I'm going to cry like a grandmaster. When the hype train's over, I'll go look and see if there's any cold Perrier. Yay, a rude butter. That's my kind of butter. Lots of centidues. Anonymous gave 1 centidue again. Trying to lean, 100 centidues. Farty Party 999. I do the grocery shopping. I'm the pretty face. Karen's the brains. All my lectures, all my streams, all Karen's streams, everything we do goes on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. Countable Jest, 500 centidues. Thank you. If you go to either one of our YouTube channels, there's mine, GM Benjamin Feingold. Then there's the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of Atlanta. Both have 60,000 subscribers. They both have 1,000 videos. And either it's me, Karen, Spencer, 2 of us, or 3 of us. And occasionally you'll find somebody else, like Nigel. Very occasionally. Mark, what does that say? Mark L? Or Mark 1? 2357. Gifted a sub. Pretty high rating. Yeah. We're at level 3. Hooray. Go, everybody. Mark Mitch 9 gave 100 centidues. Etc. Yasser's always on this stream. He's a lurker. He's here right now, except for one thing. 200 centidues from New Jersey, 0400479. Thank you. 999 donated 999. Go Pikachu. Hooray. That was my favorite donation ever. But not really. Yeah. Do my Yasser impression. Okay, now, Grandmaster Ben Feingold, a good friend of mine for years, said there's something called Twitch, and it's on something called the internet. I still don't know what the internet is, but I'm asking my friends. And they haven't texted me back because I don't have a cell phone. Level 3 complete. 400 centidues, Shanghai check. By the way, Yasser does not have a cell phone, unless he just got one. He might have gotten one in the last year. But if he didn't get one in the last year, Yasser does not have a cell phone. I mean, he might have one now, but yeah. Doesn't have a cell phone. Yeah. Frankly, ridiculous. Yeah. When I was working with Yasser in 2011 in Ningbo, China, he couldn't use ChessBase because he had Windows XP or something. So he couldn't use Engines or ChessBase. He had a laptop, but it was older than God. Yeah. And Jesus is like, hello? And so we used my laptop, and he smoked and he won. Exactly. Yasser isn't that old. He's older than me. Etc. What do I do to get to 1,200 ELO? I don't know. Lose 500 points? Oh, you mean you're lower than 1,200? Oh, that I don't know. Hooray. Dun, dun, dun. Probably true, Shanghai check. Probably true. It's She Jesus. Hello. Go She Jesus. That's funny, She Jesus, because the game up on the screen now is from Jesus. And white won, so, that's a good time to show up. Yeah. Yasser can cook. It's true. Yeah. And drink and smoke and cook. Tell stories. Beat Tal. Yasser's record against Mikhail Tal is like 1,000,000,000. He's like either 4.5 half or 5-0 against Tal. It's one of them. God damn. Yeah. All right. So that was this game. So we'll get rid of that. I can't go for that. All right. It's the new style. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. All right. So I guess he's got to flip the board. And so forth. Now, the only comment that KQLY Style 55 made in this game on Discord is that he played like a genius. He's like, I played great, I'm the greatest, etc. Mainly, etc. That was his comment. Yeah. Good question. Probably Tal. Yasser's played Tal many times. Yasser played Tal in the 80s when he was down with the ladies. That's for shizzle. Probably played him in the 70s too, but mainly the 80s. Exactly. My game's at the bottom. I gotta donate, etc. The more you donate, the more money I have. Okay, KQLY Style said he played better than perfect this game. So let's see if he's right. Otherwise, we'll mock him until my throat is sore. Yeah. It's good though because at that time, Mikhail Tal didn't drive. So it was good that Yasser beat him a lot because then he could take him to school and then pick him up. So that was nice. All right, it's a Sicilian. D5 double question mark. Well, single question mark. All right, now after E takes D5, White's already close to winning. Then Black's either going to be down a pawn or have to make about 5 queen moves. So not a good move. There's good and there's not good. D5's not good. Speaking of not good, White played E5. Terrible. All right. D4, that's also weird, but all right. So nobody wants to develop their pieces in castle. They just want to move pawns. Yep, I was right. Making sure his bishop can never get out. Good, good. Never play F6. So it hasn't been proven yet that Black knows how the pieces move, but he does know how the pawns move. That's for sure. 1,000 centidues from Robert E630. After the train ends. Boo, boo. I mean, thank you. You're the best. That $10 is going to make me holla. Holla, holla. Can I holla at you? Holla, 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 holla. Let me holla at you. Come here, let me holla at you. Holla, 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 holla. All right, I hollered at you. Yeah. Okay, F6. Never play F6. No reason to play EF. White should just play G3, Bishop, G2, castles, GG. Okay, GF, that's legal, barely. Bishop E2, E5. We still don't know if Black can move the pieces, just the pawns. We're still not sure. Okay, now we know that he can move his queen. That's not a good move because the queen can get harassed. So the engine wants to play knight F to D2 so the bishop can harass the queen and the king. And then the knight has these excellent squares. Frankly, excellent. Also, C4 is a good move. It's especially good in this game. Like in my game, it wouldn't be so good. But C4 is especially good in this game because obviously neither player knows the en passant rule. So there's no worry about that. So that's good. Okay, White played knight A3. I like that move. The knight has good squares over here. It doesn't block the bishop. Papa John's. A6, a very poor pawn move. Now the engine says White's winning with almost any move because White has 3 pieces out and he castled and Black has all this here. The only thing the players are doing right this game is they're earning their rating. Now, KQLY Style 55, he told me I can't tell you this, it was a secret, but I'm going to tell you anyway. That's the kind of guy I am. Okay? He told me he was playing badly intentionally so he could get into PogChamps 4. That was why he just moved his pawns every move to move his queen. He's like, well, I'll still win, and the PogChamps guys can play like that and win. So, yeah. Okay, I think he wanted to meet, I think he wanted to beat Anna. I think that was his, I think that's what happened. Yeah, truth hurts. Okay. Knight C4, threatening knight B6, winning. Knight D7, stopping knight B6, good. Knight H4 is an excellent move. Here comes the bishop, here comes the knight, and more importantly, especially for many of you here comes the judge. Terrible. Let's see. Don't stop donating. Yep, that's what he said. Da-da-da. Aw. I tried to type "that's awful" and it autocorrected to seagulls. That is seagulls also. All right. $500 million mistake. What happened? Protein X1 subscribed. Good. Good. Okay, distance membership, also good. The more you join our chess club, the more money we have. Hooray! Go us. Or is it go we? I don't know. Okay. And then I got a text asking me if Black is still in his prep here. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So B5, a very bad mistake. PB and Jelly 13 gifted 5 subs, putting she Jesus in her place, but not really. Yay! 5 subs. That's 5 subs more than most people give. Like 95% of people. Okay, now B5 opens up this diagonal. So now bishop F3 would be a skewer and then some. So normally I would tell you what a bad move that is, but since this move probably just wins the exchange and you sack the exchange, that's good. Well, it was unintentional. Now, what does this remind me of? This open diagonal to the rook. Thanks for asking. The beginner's trap in the Queen's Gambit accepted. Okay, you guys spell it with an E, but it's spelled with an A. A4, C6 question mark, B5 also question mark, CB question mark, Queen F3. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did. And now White's winning. Just winning. It's like OnlyFans, but it's only winning. Recommended by Charlie Sheen. Still theory. Let's see. Go something else. Okay. Back to whatever it is I was doing. B5. Okay. White correctly played bishop F3. Black somehow saw his queen was attacked. Shocking. And every move wins. The engine actually doesn't take the rook. Taking the rook wins, but it thinks other things win more. But taking the rook is what I would do, so I agree with that. +4 is good. Okay, no reason to play bishop F3 here. With the king here and no possibility of castling, White should open the center. So the best move is probably F4, opening up the F and or E files, and then Black's king is going to get in trouble. Instead he retreated, always retreat, all right. F5 is a good move, eliminating the F6 move. Check is okay. Not great, it's okay. Yeah, he's checking the king to safety. Now Black has all these pawns, and it could be pawnzimonium. It could be. So these moves are a little suspicious, putting the pieces on the side like that. But White couldn't resist checking his opponent's king. Now he's trapped his own bishop. Very risky. Damn, Black's not kidding around. E4? Not a good move, because Queen F4 check is a fork, giving away the F4 square. Queen A5 check is legal. King C6. I'm getting a text. It's from Wilhelm Steinitz. He says, I'm not rolling in my grave. JK, no JK, JK. Huh, man, Steinitz is really with it. He knows what's up. All right, that move is a little bit risky, but I guess you got to risk it to get the biscuit. Okay, I'd like to point out, for those of you that are confused, that Black checkmates White in 3 moves. Now, if that's not PogChamps worthy, then what is? Exactly. Cavavalanche is correct. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Yeah. Okay, now obviously White's winning. White's up material. White has all his pieces out. Black has no pieces out. All right. Rook E1, that's okay. Bishop D6, now we see how it's coming. Takes. Queen E5, the only threat of the game. There's only 1 billion ways to stop it. There's F4, there's G3, there's Knight F3, there's Queen A4 check, followed by one of those moves. But instead, White got greedy. E takes F5, Queen H2 mate. Gotcha, bitch. And then in the notes to the game, okay, this is the notes by the person who won the game. I played beautifully and I won. That's all they wrote about this game. Played beautifully and they won. I agree. Horsey goes L-shapes. Gifted a sub to She Jesus. Hooray. Now She Jesus will help you, Horsey, because she helps those who help themselves. Yep. Hooray. Anyway, Black showed he wasn't afraid of nothing. Walks his king around, leaves all his pieces on the back rank, and checkmates his opponent when he feels like it. That's fine. I mean, if you didn't checkmate him, he was going to play king d5 sooner or later, which hangs mate in 1, by the way. But still. Yeah. Anyway, I like that game because it teaches us something important. Nothing in chess matters except checkmating your opponent. So you can play the 40 best moves better than Magnus Carlsen. Your opponent can play the 40 worst moves, like, Shankland maybe. And then on move 41, if you blunder, Shankland might have mate in 1. And because of that, Shankland's one of the top players in the world. Right? So there you go. 1,000 centidues from Fen Beingold. Bam! Emery Tate was my friend. This is me playing his rook up the wazoo attack. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Go Fen Beingold. Hooray for you. Go Ben is correct. I played Queen takes H2 mate before you guys were born. Even the ones that are older than me. I'm the funniest. Robert E630. 501 centidues. Let's see those genes. I don't see the game from Fen Beingold. I just see the 1,000 centidues. Did I miss something? What's going on here? 94.7. What? Engine, even flawed engine gave me 94.7. There's Fen Beingold. Hooray for something. All right, so we got set position. We got Papa John's. Yeah. All right, and then we have, let's see. We got Fen Beingold. Whoa, what happened? Yay, I like noises. I like beer. There's more? Oh, I hate you, Fen Beingold. Mooney J, subscribe with Prime, thank you. What else happened? Oh, Fen Beingold, 2 parts. Can I even add the other part? Will it let me? I'll just look at it and read it, okay. Let's see, what did you say about your opponent's rating? They're always 2180. 2180. All right, against Fen Beingold. All right, 2300. The first time I played Emery Tate, he was 2350. And I was rated like 2140. And I played him in the last round of a tournament in Ohio, like the Cardinal Open, and I won. Hooray! That was one of my best tournaments ever. No, that wasn't the last round. I beat him, and I drew Igor Ivanov in the last round. And I beat somebody else who was good. I gained like 80 rating points. Yeah, that was awesome. All right, then you got more. I have to look at more stuff. Okay, so Fen Beingold's white. And he played the Emery Tate variation in the Alekhines, A4 and Rook A3. I've seen it before, but only when Emery was white. Don't try this at home, kids. D6, always take, always take. I mean, white's not even lost. White's like worse. So it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it is. It's like when I play 10-second chess, but it's slightly worse. I assume this is a 3-minute game because you only show me 3-minute games. You probably said, but I wasn't paying attention. All right, yeah, Bishop D3 doesn't look good. So now black can play F5 threatening F4, And the engine likes black? Well, the engine likes black no matter what happens. So now F5 just wins, it says. It says F5, F4 resigns. Damn, harsh. Yeah, you don't want to trade pieces when your opponent's playing shallow and pedantic. You want to start making threats and attacking and forking and skewering and playing aggressive. You don't want to trade things because then you give away your advantage. F5 is winning according to the engine. Just push him, baby. Yeah, push him down his throat. Okay, etc. All right, still better for black, obviously. Frankly. Queen D2, that just hangs this. What's going on? Did you typo me the wrong move? You played Queen D2 and didn't see your C-pawn was hanging? You play Queen E2. Come on, what is this? I've never been so angry. Queen D2? Terrible. And then black didn't take on C4. Then you're like, man, C4's hanging. Good job. All right, now we're back to like equality. D5 looks like you keep it closed. Good. Yeah, and now the position just looks normal. Yeah, he's normal position. Yeah, now white's doing fine. Yeah, put it in H. Sacked at exchange. Good. He took it, which is bad. Yeah. Yeah, now you got a pass pawn on the 7th rank. Perfect. And here comes this. Bam. Looks like the game gotcha versus bitch. Man, knight F4 triple X clamp. Oh, you missed it. After knight F4, there's no way to stop knight G6. God damn. Knight F4 plus 15. Recommended by Charlie Sheen. Winning. Never trade when you're mating your opponent. Put that knight on G6. Bam. If it was Bughouse, you would have placed the knight on G6. Terrible. Bishop F6 winning. Winning. Queen G5 winning. Bishop E5 winning. The mother of all pins. Hey, Fem Beingold. We were here yesterday when I had the guy's queen pinned and I played queen B1 mate and everybody clapped. I think it was very similar to this. So that was black. Knight B5, knight D6. He got his spite check in. Knife takes F5. A quicker win was queen takes, bishop takes, queen check. But that's ridiculous. Your move is funnier. Yeah, that's funnier. Yeah. Yeah, that's a funnier way to win. All right, and the game isn't even over. Fen Beingold cheer 200 bits to do. Somehow the game's going on, but I don't know why. King F4, King D6. For some reason, King D6 is a strange move. King C7 is a very strange move instead of D5. Frankly, worst technique I've ever seen. Yeah, horrible. It's a King B6. God, what's wrong with you? Here. King takes. King B5. Both moves win, but you play King B5, which is funny. All right, that was very, very bad technique. And you should be ashamed of yourself because of your small donations. Yeah. Boo, boo. All right, yeah, it was 3 minutes. Okay. The engine said you played 94 that game? Are you sure it didn't say 9.4? Exactly. 100 Centidues, Drainer 365. No, that was a good pin. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Viper Dragon, 1 Centidue. Munchie P27, a tier 3 subscription. Yes, sir, sir. Unless you're a woman, then, yes, ma'am. Tier 3 sub. Wow. Fen Beingold, 5,000 Centidues. Now it's got the spinny thing. Let's watch it spin with its glowing, warming glow. What? Yeah, exactly. A tier 3 sub means you spent 5 times more than somebody who got a tier 1 sub. With a tier 3 sub, you are able to do things they're not. You can beat Magnus Carlsen half the time, and you also are able to put these two emotes, which nobody else can. Put it in H as tier 3, knife F5 is tier 2. If you can put it in H, you're a tier 3 sub. Is the Chess Center hiring? That's a Karen question. Every question is for Karen. Nobody has a tier 3 sub. Not nobody, not know how. Nobody can afford it. A tier 3 sub is like when you donate 50 subs like She Jesus. I mean, not really. But it was a good joke. Yeah, you could have beaten Magnus if you were a tier 3 sub. See, Magnus wanted to get a tier 3 sub so he could beat other world champions, but he couldn't afford it, so he had to leave the stream. Man, harsh. Eventually, he became world champion anyway, but that's because Ivanchuk beat Kramnik. Right? Come on. You guys don't know about that, but like, I'm sure Fen Beingold knows about it. You guys realize if Kramnik had beaten or drawn Ivanchuk, the whole world would be different. Magnus would have cried like a grandmaster. Yeah. You guys remember that? No? In the last round of the candidates tournament, Magnus lost with white against Svidler. Because he's the greatest player who ever lived. But he still made it. Terrible. Cry like a grandmaster. Who's Fen Beingold? Blasphemy. The guy who just donated 5,000 centidues. All right, good ending. It was a happy ending for Fen Beingold. That's why it was 5,000 centidues. Okay, now what game is this? Limey versus Blimey. Let's see. What? I don't know what color you were. Oh, there you are. No? Twitch name is that. I don't know who submitted this game, white or black. He puts his Twitch name, and then the chess.com names are different, and there's no notes. So if you're here, tell me if you were white or black. Frankly, terrible. Anybody? Anyone? Somebody? I'm white. What? That's not your Twitch name. What? Boo, boo. Next. You're so next. Da, 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 da. Probably whoever won. Yeah, I guess. All right. I don't know. Terrible. Frankly. All right. I have sort of a pinkish hue, but, you know. All right. Back to whatever it is I was doing. One time, we were at a chess tournament, and we're in the hallway, and we hear a lecture going on in one of the rooms. And of course, it was Emery. He just walked up to a diamond board and started giving a lecture, and people walked in. Ad hoc lecture. And he was like this and that and the other. And me and my brother walked in late. So my brother said, what color are you? And Emery said, I'm white and black. And then he kept analyzing. So there you go. Yeah. Truth hurts. Okay, so we'll pretend that the guy with white submitted the game. I don't know. Exchange French. C4 is the best move. C4 was played in the famous game Feingold Yusupov 2002 World Open round 9. After C4 offered a draw, Yusupov thought for 15 minutes and accepted. And then I tied for first and got my first GM dorm. Hooray for me. After C4, if black plays 97, C5 wins a piece. That almost happened in my game, except it didn't almost happen. Okay, so bishop d3, boring, boring, boring. Oh, it got more boring. Oh, it's c4, less boring. Now it's not as boring. There we go. Still a little boring. All right, white has the space advantage. Black should have taken on c4 when he had the chance. Now white has more space. The final frontier on the queen side. The only thing worse than that is the Frontier Hotel in Vegas. which luckily is gone. And the only thing worse than that is Frontier Airlines. Okay, let's vote in the chat. Get ready to vote. Which airline is worse, Frontier or Spirit? Vote in the chat now. We can see now which one of you guys have flown Frontier, which ones have flown Spirit. Yeah. Tier 3 sub, you would never be on either. That's correct. If you have a Tier 3 sub, you would never be on Spirit or Frontier. That's right. Double-edged sword. Spirit is way worse. Spirit is worse. Don't like Spirit's name. Now, my dad claimed that Frontier used to be called Allegheny Air, but they changed their name because they kept crashing into mountains. Now, if that's the case, probably Frontier's worse, if that's the case. It would be funny if it's true. I would fly Delta with 3 stops instead of Frontier 9. I definitely would fly. I haven't flown Frontier, but I know. I would definitely do anything other than fly Spirit. Anything. I would eat my phone. Right? I would eat right now. Eat that phone instead of fly Spirit Air. God damn. I'm not saying Spirit's worse than Frontier, but, you know, Spirit's not good. There's good, there's not good. Spirit's not good. 200 centidues. Hooray. Yeah, the more you donate, the more games you can show me. I have flown Aeroflot, better than Spirit. Although I did have some issues. But yeah. I flew Aeroflot in 1990. God damn, and I'm still alive. Hirsch 3, 100 centidues. 200 centidues. Well, I have the iPhone Pro Max. I'm a grandmaster. Yeah. I only have the best phones. Even my screensaver's the best. Bam! You can't beat whatever I got. Not sure what that is. See, I got good screensavers or something. Wallpaper, whatever it's called. Nobody knows. See, look at that. Yay, go Ben. What's the best airline if it isn't Spirit? It isn't Spirit is correct. No, actually, I got to the main airport in Moscow that I can't pronounce, and then I went to a different airport by taxi. Ow. And then I flew from that small airport in Moscow on Aeroflot to Rostov-on-Don. God damn. They changed the name of it to Rostov. God damn. Yeah, that flight was suspicious. Yeah. Frankly, terrible. Yeah, that's right. I went from the first one you wrote to the second one you wrote or something. I don't know. Nobody knows what the second airport was called. I don't think it was an airport even. There's a donkey there. Yeah. Oh, Canada. I knew a guy who flew on Aeroflot and he almost lived. That was even more exciting. Okay, so White's putting the squeeze on Black. He's squeezing him. Knight F1's the wrong way, but all right, still squeezing him. He will hug you and squeeze you. Knife F5, yay! Go Knife F5. White's playing better than perfect. These guys are rated like 0, but White's playing great. White's like the best player in his chair. Oh, that move's not good. Man, that pawn structure is no good. God damn. Etc. That's just a blunder. That's a very bad move. Now, after bishop takes, the engine actually prefers Black. You got the 2 bishops. Black can't move anything, and you give away the 2 bishops and probably lose a pawn. I mean, that's just, you got to have more patience. For more information, listen to Guns N' Roses. That was bad teaching on my part. Instead of listening to the song Patience, which would have made him a better chess player, he listened to the song Welcome to the Jungle. That's why he played Bishop D6. Oh well. Takes. Hooray, 200 centidues. Hooray for everybody. Rook D8. Knight E8's the best move. I would never play Knight E8. That's the engine move. I would never play that. Now, the reason Knight E8 is the best move is if you take with the knight, that's obviously good. And if you play D7, I play Knight F6, and the rook can't penetrate or infiltrate. 200 centidues. Radibatical. And the problem with Rook D8 is Rook E7 is good, and now White's better again. That's hard to figure out, though, so wouldn't expect anybody to figure that out. All right, now White's back on the winning track. Winning. Okay, and then this move is you can just play B6 and queen. As Joel Benjamin would say, it's a girl. Yeah, you just queen the pawn. There's no stopping it. Yeah. Also good. Don't stop queening. Hold on to that feeling. All right, and Black resigned. Terrible. Anyway, Black should have taken on C4 very early, and when White was getting that space advantage on the queen side, it was just a bad position for him. And then he got that one chance when White played Bishop D6 too early, but it was shallow and pedantic. Anyway, that was a pretty good game considering, looked like Rufus and Doofus for a second. Opponent's 2090, I'm White. All right. Go Fen Beingold. Fen Beingold 2090, and it's always 3 minutes because it's Fen Beingold. Okay, he says E5 is speculative. We got a Ruy Lopez, the boring variation. I've never been so bored. Oh. What happened? Bishop C8 seems a little passive to me. G6, when it's not, I don't like G6. Queen D2 is good. Knight G8's forced. D4 is fine. Bishop F6 is fine. Knight H2 is fine. Bishop G7 is passive. Knight G4 is bad, and you should feel bad. Yeah, now the engine likes Black. It says you should play Knight C4, take, and C5. Benoni style. Oppa Benoni style. H5. God damn. Wow, Knight C4. Ugh. Now I like White a lot. Queen E2 I like. ED4 I like. ED Falco I like. Okay, this is where you went crazy? Or you went crazy next move? Okay, this is where you went crazy with E5? Yeah, I don't blame you. You wanted to open up that bishop to his king. Yeah. I don't blame you for playing E5, especially in a 3-minute game. I didn't say it was good. But I don't blame... Queen H4. God damn. Threatening Bishop F2 check. Yeah, Queen H4 is a mistake. Small one. Taking on E5 is a mistake. Taking on D4 is okay. Queen D4 is forced. Queen E2 is good. I mean, look at this position. Look at this. Terrible. And then you got all this action, and this action, and this action, this action. God damn, where's Hikaru to draw more arrows for me? Man, you need an intern. Okay, knife F6. Rook D1, good. Queen F3 is better, but that's fine. Rook D6. And that's just a blunder. Did you see knight takes H5? Are you good enough to see that? Bam! Knight takes H5. That's really good for a 3-minute game. I'm not sure I would see that. Yeah, knight takes H5 is triple exclam. Now, if you want to know if your opponent's cheating, this is a good example of cheating. The engine plays a move here none of you would ever think of ever. And if I tell you the move and you come back tomorrow and I set this position up, you'll forget. That's how unlikely the move is. You'll be like, oh, Ben showed us this. So if your opponent plays this, he's cheating. Now he's a weird cheater because he's completely lost. So he should have started cheating earlier. So that, yeah. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. Let's see, who else donated while I wasn't looking? Anonymous Cheerer, 100 centidues. Yeah. Anyway, the engine plays bishop to f3. God damn. Still winning for white, but it's the least winning for white of all the moves. Yeah, nobody's going to play that. Frankly, ridiculous. Yeah, that's what a human would play. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, queen. Yeah, this is very human play. Yeah. Wow, you play bishop g6. I mean, that's a really good move. I mean, I've seen you play before. I'm surprised. So the idea is, I don't have to tell you the idea because it happened. Obviously, king g7 is forced. Then you can trade queens and play bishop e4 check. And that reminds me of a tactic I played once that I'm going to show you. Okay, instead, he took on g6, and then rook d7, he resigned because you lose your queen and get mated. But this bishop e4 check, winning the bishop on b7, reminds me of a game that I played about, 15 years ago. I don't know if I can remember it, but, I'm not the one on trial here. Probably can't remember it, but, Let's see, how am I doing remembering it? Probably not too good. He might have played f5. Let's see, is this right? Oh, no, this isn't right. I'm sorry. This is right. Yeah, this is right. Yeah. Okay, this is a game that I played against like a 2150 about 12 years ago. 15 years ago, I don't know. In a slow tournament. Thanks for the 1,000 centidues. Yeah. And when I played knight e5, I remember thinking, if he takes and I take and he plays g5, I have a winning tactic he'll never see. Never. And he did do that. So he went here, here, and then I showed him what it was like when God has a gun. Bam! When I played that, if I remember correctly, the whole world was destroyed. Now, what's funny is, he's not dead lost here, but he was so distraught, he played like queen takes, bishop takes, and he resigned. But actually, he has a way to trap my bishop here. Yeah, and I remember when I saw bishop a6, I was like, he'll never see bishop a6, so he might play knight takes e5 and g5. And he did. Yeah, that was awesome. No ads, we'll go back. And it was awesome what I did. Okay, so we got, I messed up again. If you don't want to see ads, then subscribe. Jesus, help these people who have to watch ads. They need subs. She won't help them because they don't help themselves. They could sub, they just don't. Yay, Hirsch3 gave $9.99 plus 1. Hooray. Yeah, I know, I went back because of the ads. Okay, so I played knight e5, and I thought to myself, if he takes and plays g5, I have a winning line which he'll never see. So he might take and play g5, and he did. And the winning line was takes, bishop a6, with the idea of queen check and taking the bishop. Now, this is even more impressive, except he played queen takes pawn and resigned. I took this, he's out of piece. He could have played rook takes. Now his queen defends the pawn. Now my bishop's trapped. And then b5, and my bishop's trapped. Now I'm still winning, but I'm barely winning. It's like I'm barely a GM. Right? I should play a4 and then A, B5, and then I'm winning because this is ridiculous, this is ridiculous, this is ridiculous. So I'm like +2. I'm not winning, but I'm like regular winning. But after bishop A6, he was so distraught that he just like immediately did this, and he resigned. Waity SB, Waits B, gifted 4 subs. Go 4 subs. Yay. 3 centidues. Thanks, Telling Moose. Hooray for everybody. Yeah, I really like the move bishop A6. You don't get to play moves like that every day, every other day. Yeah. Bam. Yeah. Now, it was weird. About 10 minutes after the round ended, and about 20 minutes before the next round, we were all sitting around, and the director was like, "Did you guys hear that?" And then everybody's like, "What?" It says, at some point in the round, somebody yelled out, "Gotcha, bitch!" And I was like, I didn't hear it. Yeah, if he takes my bishop, I smack my bishop, then queen g6 check and mate. Or queen h6, queen g6, queen h6, and then mate. And the reason I have to do that is my bishop is blocking my queen, so it's a clearance sacrifice. What's your clearance, Clarence? I don't know. What's your vector, Victor? Roger. So now I'm threatening mate, and I'm threatening his bishop. But bishop a6 is hard for a human to see, but I've never been accused of being human. It was hard to remember that game. I probably got the move order wrong. But, you get the idea. Yeah. Jimmy, do you like movie? Or is it Timmy? Hirsch 3, 100 centidues. Hirsch. Hooray for everybody. Everybody's banned, etc. Yay, Hirsch gave 100 centidues again. Yeah. Took the pawn, then he resigned. Frankly, delicious. Okay, now we have a game from E. Wizzle. It's a rapper's favorite player. These guys are both 2,200. Okay, let's see what Wizzle wrote. I think Wizzle won a tournament I played in. I think he beat me or something. Bastard. Let's see, where's the Wizzle? Wizzle Wazzle. Here it is. 2263 Wizzle, 2257 opponent. I assume it must have been on Lichess. Bam. Rated rapid game. No, nothing. He said Vishwa nothing about the game. Should have said Vishwa something. 101 centidues from Farty Party. 200 centidues. Hooray. Did I look at your second game, Fen Beingold? I already forgot. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, your second game you played better than the first game. I agree. Yeah. Show us a secret move. There's a secret chord. It goes the 4th, the 5th, but I can't tell you anything more about it. Hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, back to whatever it is I was doing. Okay, we have the weird Sicilian. Frankly, weird. Yeah, B5 is not good. White's already better here. Yeah, this is just good for white. B5 is a bad move. This is a rapid game, by the way, not a blitz or bullet. Yeah, this is just good for white. I would have played DC. Let me see what the engine says. A4. Was it me? DC. Yeah, DC's better. We get to get this out. Yeah. I mean, BC's okay, but you should call it BCE. That's the more common nomenclature today, before the Common Era. So that's why I wouldn't do BC. DC's okay, and it's a marvel that he didn't play DC. And that was like 4 jokes. That's right, you don't really care for music, do you? Yep. And then she cut my hair in the kitchen chair. No! Da-da-da. Could the Botez sisters beat Morphe? Let me think about that. It's 2 against 1. He's a man. He's short. There's 2 of them. I think in a fight, the Botez sisters would beat Morphe. I'm not sure, though. But probably. Probably, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they're alive helps. That's why it was close. Yeah, he's hung over. Yeah. Wonder Woman. Yeah. Lunatic strength. Very good. Jeffrey Goins gifted a sub. Hooray! The Botez sisters are in great shape. Morphe never lifted. Yeah. Indo Queen. Let's see. No text from Karen, and she's out with like 50 guys. Maybe it's 50 first dates again. Bam. It's me. Morphe was a pacifist. Played pretty aggressive, though. When I think of the Queen's Gambit, you mean on Netflix or the opening? Okay, so DC's better. The engine concurs. Knight G3. Yeah, black has to play D5 every move, but black never played D5 every move. So now, ooh, G6. If I play G6, I just abort the game because I don't want to play this guy anymore. The engine thinks G6 is worse than I do, which isn't even possible. It says white's 2.74 ahead. You can't play G6, that's just not chess. If you're going to play G6, your bishop has to go here. You can't play here and then play G6. So these are definitely Lichess ratings or Wizzle's lying about the ratings. Because nobody over like 900 would play G6. I mean, G6, that's just an awful, awful move. Yeah. D4 resigns. Yeah. Okay, the game ended here. Let's look at the next game. God, G6. What is this? PogChamps 3.14? Man, they really got pie in their face this time. Oh, snap. And takes is also a bad move. All right, takes. Always retreat. Bishop B2. H5. God damn. Terrible move. Knight D5. Knight E4. Black's coming back, but not really. Rook E1. No, the engine likes Rook E1. See, white wanted to play F4, GG, but Knight E3 is annoying. So he stopped Knight E3. Very good. Good. Bishop B3 is good. A4 is better than A3, but okay, I'll give him a break. Queen B6 is good. Queen D2 is legal. Yeah, now black is fine because white played too slowly. And now black's pinning his... What kind of move is that? Why would you pin your own knight? Black has 2-1 on the queen side. B4. Come on. Get some counterplay. Get some Gegenspiel. Onishinkin. Come on. All right, Queen E6, terrible, pinning his own knight. Horrible. Queen F5, unpinning his knight, better. Knight C3, double question mark. Losing the game. What a terrible move. Giving away this square, so Bishop G5 is coming. What a terrible move, Knight C3. Man. Knight F4. Not that bad. So Knight takes C3 followed by Bishop G5 is winning. Because black's bishops and queen are too active. Everything's too active. Bishop G5 right away is winning. Knight F4 it says is equal. D5 I think is forced because the bishop and the knight were coming. Queen G5 is barely legal. Never play F3. G3 is better than F3. Terrible. B4 is the best move. He's not going to find that. He checked his king to safety. This is such a bad move because the guy wants his king on H1 so that knight H3 never happens and the G-pawn's not pinned and we're not on this diagonal. So B4 is the move. After B4, black's better. And now white's better. Terrible. Yeah, and now the game is over. White's just winning. Yeah, bishop C5 to B6 was terrible. Giving away all the important squares. I don't know how he did it. He just had to put him in check. I mean, you can't just check somebody then resign. Should resign. All right, every move wins. So I don't know what he played, but every move wins. That's one of the winning moves. Good. Bishop e1, that wins. Yep, just winning. Knight e4 wins. e6 is crushing because we unleash the latent potential of the bishop and knight battery. And you would know what that was if you had more than an 8th grade education. Okay, but this is okay too. Terrible. All right, this is just the wrap it up button, obviously. Free pieces everywhere. White's up 2 pieces. Check. Not sure why he did that instead of playing e7. Not sure why he played rook d1. This doesn't matter. Okay, and then black resigned. That was an awful game. Awful. Terrible. White was completely winning. Then black was better. Then the advantage went back and forth. I would say that was a PogChamps game. You know, like a 1-minute PogChamps game, blindfolded, where they're playing with their left hand on the mouse and they're right-handed. That's what that looked like. Yeah. Basically, both those people are banned. Now, one guy doesn't come to this stream, but one guy does. Yeah. Now, you guys are like, man, Ben, you're being harsh, and I have a stupid voice. Okay, maybe. But let's check. Let's do some analysis here. Let's do a report. It says they both played 0. 0.0, both of them. Doesn't really say that, but never been so mad. Yeah, no juicers? Man. 1,000 viewers to do. All the PogChamps people. I can't look at one of your games because there's a list of games. You have to submit them before the stream, and you do it once a week. I can't just look at people's games in the chat. Like, if Fem Beingold wanted me to do that, I wouldn't do it. I just can't do it. All right, let me make fun of the players some more. I'm going to say they both played less than 0. That's my guess. Although, I mean, black made white just crushed black in the end, and white was crushing black in the beginning. It was the middle that was suspicious. But obviously white's the much better player, frankly. The more you donate, the more money I have. All right, let's see what they said. Let's see if the engine says I'm an idiot of idiot's caliber. Probably. I'm stuck. Can you call like a scientist? Now, this was a rapid game, and both players are 2,200. White played 46, and black played 51. I mean, that's like 1,000 strength. That's not, yeah. Yeah. So I think what happened was, if I was a betting man, that game was played on Lichess. Yeah. Now, I will agree that neither player used a computer, so that's good. Yeah. E4, E5, King, E2. Too long. Too long. What does 46-51 mean? It's out of 100. So if you play in the 90s, you're really good. Play in the 80s, you're pretty good. Play in the 70s, you can win PogChamps. You play in the 60s, then you're going to lose to the Botez sisters. You play in the 50s, then Karen's going to beat you on time. That's what it means. Yeah, terrible. Yeah. If you guys thought I was being brutal, what if Hikaru looked at that game? Man, horrible. Too many mistakes for 2,200 players. White was crushing black and played great. Then white let black get back into the game, and black was fine. And then black just kept making more blunders. And white was like, this wins, and this wins, and this wins, and this wins. And he played some of the wins. So white won that game twice. Damn, trying to learn with the good joke. No, he had a lot of master's degrees, not PhDs. He just won a writing contest for some submission for movies or something. Huh. Botez is worse than Rainn Wilson? That depends which Botez. How good's the Papa Botez? I don't know. Now, as you know, the Botez sisters live in Austin, and they moved there recently, and they posted on Twitter they're donating money to people who don't have electricity or water or food. And if I read it correctly, the Botez sisters, or maybe just Alexandra, she donated $500 to 15 different people randomly who asked on their Twitter. They gave their Cash App, and maybe Cash App has some kind of business arrangement, I'm not sure. But they're trying to hook people up in Austin who don't have any food, don't have any water, don't have any electricity, don't have any heat. And the heat, my God, the heat. Good Seinfeld reference. And then, who's that idiot? Man, that's tough because I could name like 1,000 people now. Who's the stupidest person? Rick Perry. Rick Perry said, it's worth it not to have any power or heat to get the government out of your face. So by getting rid of the regulations and making sure everybody dies of being cold, that's better than if the government was in your face and making you have heat. That's Texas for you. Yeah. So anyway, if you go to the internet, go to Twitter, go follow Alexandra Botez's Twitter feed, and help her give money to people in Austin if you have it. Because then they won't die of being cold. Frankly, terrible. Yeah. Or don't do it. But, you know. Now, I must say, I made a lot of money off of Rick Perry. This is a true story. You're going to like this story. One of my Rex bets, one of my many Rex bets, that means I'm betting Rex, was he bet Rick Perry would be the president, and I bet Obama would be the president. So, the only way I can lose the bet is if Rick Perry becomes the president. If Obama loses to whoever the Republican candidate is, I still don't lose the bet. We only lose the bet if the person we picked wins. Now, for those children who are listening, that is the definition of a free roll. If you want to know what a free roll is, look that up in the dictionary. It'll say one person bets on Rick Perry to be president, and one person bets on somebody else. That's called a free roll. Bam. You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? God damn. Etc. Go the Rock Obama. It wasn't a rock. It was the Rock Obama. No, we bet $100 each. $100? Holla, holla, holla. I won a lot of money that election. But then I lost money to him the next election. Terrible. Come on, Trump. Why are you stealing my money? All right, back to whatever it is I was doing. All right, Lucas. He said this is the I didn't say this, the guy did. He said this is the game Lucas versus Rufus, which I thought was funny. Yeah. Lee Chess, I'm 1705, he's 1749. Might as well call this Lucas versus Doofus. Did I say Rufus? 200 cents a dues, Fen Beingold. Hooray. Yeah. When he paid me, it was actually very funny. He was swearing, and that was a funny skit. Okay, I rarely attack, but my opponent was insistent I attack. On move 25, Black's only developed piece is the king. Despite the ease, I was happy with how I played, especially 26 bishop e1. I'm wondering about improvements on h4 and whether Black is better off declining the exchange sack. What if Black had defended better? Yeah, then, you would have been in trouble if he defended better. All right. I donated 10,000 centidues. All right. Hooray. Chappelle Show is one of my top 5 shows. God damn. Should the government give me a girlfriend? It's your only hope. Man. Yeah, it was funny when they were discussing whether the government should give people like you girlfriends. they had a talk, and I was one of the people on the call, and they wanted to know if pimping was easy, and it turned out it wasn't, and it was. So they didn't know what to do. So that's why they weren't sure if they should give you a girlfriend or not. It's weird how that happened. I mean, Big Daddy Kane didn't have as much pull as he thought he did. Maybe you needed a bigger Kane. I don't know. What grandmasters could you beat in a fight? Grandmasters wouldn't fight each other. We're like, that son! Grandmasters will team up and kick yo ass. That's what we would do. God damn. And so on. Where will my viewers go? Where's my donations? Where's my subs? Would I beat in a fight? All of them. All of them. Okay, let's get back to whatever this is. It's a con! A Carol F6. Boo! Boo! Yeah, white shouldn't play F4. That blocks the bishop. Knight F3 is simple winning advantage for white. Yeah, F4 is not very good. Ah! 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 God damn! Ah! Throw up like a grandmaster. H6. Now, I have a point to make. Notice how it says black is 1749. God damn. It insists on itself. What the hell is H6? Is this guy proving he's not good enough for PogChamps? Because that's hard to do, but it looks like he's doing it. Damn. I lived in Texas. It's good as long as you don't need anything. If you want to learn about Texas, all you have to do is watch The Family Guy where they have to escape to Texas, and they're in Texas for a while, right? And the one good thing was the robot Super Devil was killed. Or just the Super Devil. I'm confusing Futurama and Family Guy. Yeah, H6, frankly, ridiculous. Terrible. That's right, and Tucson's the worst. Okay, it says white's up 2.6 with basically any move. He played any move. That's a move. E6, that's barely legal. Barely a move. G5, god damn, from bad to worse. What the hell? F5 was forced. And it would be a win by farce now. Unless it's the Iranian Championship, then it's a win by Farsi. Check. Run. And run in and run in. C4, it's explosive. Not a good move, but it's explosive. Yeah, now we should play G4 attacking the knight and then F5 bottling up the bishop on G6. But he forced the bishop to safety. Oh, well. Terrible, frankly. Man, I haven't seen a beating like this since, I don't know, Karen went on vacation for a week. One of my usual jokes. D takes E5 is better because then we have pressure here and we open up the D file to get to black's king. So D takes is better, but it doesn't affect the result of the game, obviously. Rook F8, bishop E3 is good, knight F5 is good, bishop F2 is good, queen B6 is legal, taking is legal, taking that way is barely legal, castles is good. Completely winning for white. King E6, man, god damn. The engine says bishop takes F5, rook F5, queen H5, 1-0. Because the queen's threatening here, which is mate, here. So just takes, queen H5 resigns. Threatening everything. Plus 11. But queen H5 right away wins. Knight A4, the wrong side of the board. That's fine. Knight C5 check's coming. Queen G4 is okay. H4 is okay. Knight E3 is legal. Good exchange sack. Yeah, and black's just dead. Frankly, ridiculous. Delicious. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Texas. Who resigns? Texas mayor resigns. Go Texas mayor, except for one thing. You know, it's so weird that they have like snow and ice and no power in Austin. They should make some saying up about it, like keep Austin weird, something like that. Okay, back to whatever it is I was doing. Rook h8, boo, boo. Your play is bad and you should feel bad. All right, now I have to stop here for a second. This is very serious. I hate being serious on the stream, but I got to say something. Are you guys ready? I'm going to say something. Black is 1749? What? I mean, he's not making moves that are like blunders, like, oh, my queen. That's 17 could do that. His moves are just ridiculous. His moves are like you teach a kid how to play chess, and he doesn't know the rules, and he's like moving like h6, f6. He's like, I don't know how to play. That's what he's playing like. Yeah. Yeah, sorry if you're a kid who just learns and I'm insulting you. All right, back to whatever it is I was doing. HG, very wells. Knight c5 is good. e6 was forced mate, because after e6, we open up this diagonal to the king. So e6 is actually just checkmate. If king takes, knight c5. If king c7, bishop g3, etc. A good clearance sacrifice. Yeah. Bishop e1. He was really proud of bishop e1, even though the engine wouldn't play bishop e1, but bishop e1's fine. Now black has to move the a pawn, so he has a7 for his king, but he does not. So now he doesn't have a7 for his king. Yeah, and now e6 is good, good. Now, for those of you who don't know the rules of chess, bishop g3 is mate if it was white's move. Let that sink in for a second. Terrible. That's a good mate in one. Yeah. 1749 is the name. The ELO is 5 plus 3. Oh, his ELO is 8. Okay. B5, getting a square for his king. Good. But for how long? Bam. Rook G8. Rook C6, the winning rook sack. Queen H6, triple exclam. And he resigned because rook here, queen here, mate. Right. I mean, black played really, 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 really badly, and it gave white the courage to sacrifice because it had to work. Frankly, terrible. Yeah. 1,100 viewers. Did I get rated? What of 1,100 viewers? What happened? All right, it's time for another train. While you guys are donating, I'll see if there's any Perrier in the fridge. If there's not, I'll put some in the fridge and I'll drink a semi, cold, I can't say semi on the stream, but, All right, I'll be back. And we'll let the calendar, be in charge of the stream. And when I get back, I'll read what the joke is for today. I don't hear any donations. Yes. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Not only was there Perrier in the fridge, all the Perrier was in the fridge. Yes. All right, let's read the joke. There we go. Baby got diarrhea. It's like back. That's where you get it. Wednesday the 17th, very punny. Why can't frogs work in a metal shop? Because they have open-toed shoes. I actually like that one. Open-toed shoes. All right, I thought it was because they were French. Okay, 100 cents a deuce, farty party. 9 cents a deuce, ace deuce. I used to live in the ace deuce. High power 8, 1 cent a deuce. Grunge War, 200 cents a deuce. It's a trap. 100, purple fay, 4, 8, 12, 15 cents a deuce-ish. Etc. Mainly etc. It's hands-free. Oh, snap. All right, let's get that 50 sub donation so we can have 2,000% at level 5. I like when it says that. I deleted all the German names from my phone book too, and because of that, I only had to delete 9 numbers. 9. So that was good. It's San Pellegrino in a can, except it's Perrier. Otherwise it is. All right, good. All right, this is Ninja, who donated a long time ago and waited a long time. He donated a long time ago. 5-5 blitz match. Ninja's 550. His opponent's 520. Ninja's white. I would have played G6. Oh, if my opponent played G6, I moved 19. I would have lost because I would have ran out of time. Instead, he didn't do that. So I said, gotcha, bitch. All right. Nice thing to say. All right. Let's go. The hype train's getting crushed. Boo, boo. No, I haven't done chess lessons in a year and a half. But I'm giving a chess lesson now. Boo! Oh, wait, that's not the chess lesson. Your play is bad and you should feel bad. Now, if you never want to lose a chess game again, I'll give you the advice. I guarantee you won't lose a chess game again. Guarantee void in Tennessee. Don't play anymore. Oh, snap. The Kasparov method. Okay. Big money, big money, big money, no whammy. Stop. $5. Yay. 3 bad brothers you know so well. It started way back in history with that Rock MCA and me, Mike D. Had a little horsey named Paul Revere. Me and my horsey in a quart of beer. Driving across the land, kicking up sand. Sharing spices on my tail cause I'm in demand. One lonely beastie I be. All by myself without nobody. Etc. Yay. Plectrumura, 100 centidues. Stop the count. Let's go, people. Let's get that train going. Do it. Beastie Boys got the biggest heads. Ho, ho. What's going on here? Gotta turn the sound off. Oh, this is just mine. Very good. Good clip trying to learn. Good clip. What? What does that say? Thanks for the sub. Whomever you are. Anonymous cheer, 1 cent to do. Igu Arot. Something like that. $100 centidues. Exactly. Yay, we made it to level 2. The best we could ever do. Bam. Okay, so this is Ninja taking names. Remember, the guys are 500, so be nice. But not too nice. Yeah, don't play E3, Ninja. You got to get that bishop out. Okay, you got to smack that bishop up. Give that bishop some air, okay? All right. If you give the bishop some air, you can erect a good position, right? Now you're going to have a dysfunction with your bishop, because you can't get him out. Man, I mean, if you can't get your bishop out and you can't erect a good position, you won't have a happy ending. Come on, hype train's at 1% after that? Boo, boo. Curious Chimpanzee, 200 Senzu. That is correct. But Philidor, well, exactly, you're not going to win the game. How do you spell Sensidu? Sentidu. All right, back to whatever it is I was doing. Bishop f5, good, good. e4. Black's got 800 million pieces on that. 1, 2, 3, 800 million. What are you doing? Winst XN subscribed. Hooray! Go everybody. That's right. It's a perfectly cromulent bishop. Okay. Takes, good. Knight g5 is barely legal. That's good. That's good. Threatening f7. Very good. Now, most grandmasters would play knight d7 or bishop d7, hanging mate in 1. Okay? We call those grandmasters British grandmasters. British. Okay, they would go here, they would go here, and then you'd go there, they go, oh, blimey, I can't bloody believe it. Right? That's what would happen. Right? But you're not playing a British grandmaster. So that's the first problem. Truth hurts. Okay. The British grandmasters are like, my God, he's got our number. Okay, so e6, good, good. Good old American defense. Doesn't work. Okay, castles is good. Knight g4 is, legal. Not sure what the point of that was. Bishop f4 is good. You developed a piece. Good. Bishop d6 is good. Knight takes f7. As in the famous game God versus Damn. Yeah, that's a little unsound there, Ninja. A little unsound. But you won, so I guess it's sound. Then you sacrificed again. Knight takes e4. God damn. Ninja don't take no crap from nothing. He's playing like a ninja. British GMs get their norms on Lichess. Good, good. Okay, now in this position, the engine says bishop takes f4 and black's up 2 pieces for nothing. So yeah, that'd probably win. Bishop takes e4, also winning. Foogie Boogie subscribed. Get up on the floor. 'Cause he's gonna boogie, oogie, oogie like he just can't boogie no more. Boogie. You can't boogie no more. All right. Queen takes g4. Good. Rook f8. A terrible blunder. Notice all these pieces are being attacked sideways, so bishop f5 or h5 is still winning. After rook f8, now white's better because white can take this, and he's got some pieces to take over here. Oh, but he played c3. And after black's response, he was probably PO'd. No. Yeah, your queen and bishop are lined up on the bubble up. Bishop takes, and then the bishop is hanging. Knight e2 check. Missing the bishop can retreat, and the queen. Very suspicious. Not the best move. Queen takes is good. Bishop takes is good. Now in this position, You just have to take the bishop and you're already better. There's a bishop, you got to take it. Queen h5 doesn't work. This bishop is a good defender. So you had to play queen takes bishop, and then you're fine. Okay, this move was recommended by the Indigo girls because if you play it, you're closer to fine. Then you're threatening queen takes bishop check, queen takes e6 mate, queen takes h7, queen takes b7, Papa John's. No, we died on level 2. Boo! Boo! You guys are the worst. You guys are like wool. The worstest. Or is it worsted? You broke my chat. What makes a good player? Donations. Swami2112 subscribed. Hooray! I gotta refresh my stream because the hype train's like killing it. It like got stuck at 0%. Terrible. There we go. All right. Donations make you better at chess. That's right. Okay. King g8's good. Check is good. King h8's good. Black's just a piece up for nothing. So he should win. Okay, that move doesn't make any sense because the bishop's attacked. And then if you go here, taking the bishop defends this bishop, attacks this one. So just bishop d6, queen here, bishop here. They're all winning for black. That just blunders the bishop. Now white's winning. Yay. Okay, bishop f5. Now he's threatening queen h7 mate. That's how you win chess games when both players are less than 1,000. You threaten mate. You have a very good chance of winning. Yeah. Now, you're still winning after g6. As you said, you might lose on time. Let me explain why you're winning after g6. In the game, your opponent took the rook and you mated him. Very good. You win. Hooray. Now, they played g6. The queen is overworked. This is a very complicated tactic. The queen's defending g6 and it's defending the bishop. So the way you win is you take, threatening mate, again. He can't take with a pawn because it's pinned. So he takes with a queen, you trade queens, then you take this bishop, and you're 2 pawns up with a winning endgame. This is the famous game Magnus Carlsen versus everybody, and Magnus won. So you were still winning, but it was good that you threatened mate, and you saw you were threatening mate. He just saw the rooks were attacking each other, and also, you're not only threatening this mate, you're also threatening rook takes e8 check, which is also good. Queen takes e8 is not bad either. So g6 was forced. Okay, so you won by force, and, you know, it could have been you won by farce. Anyway, that was the best game I looked at today. That shows you, you know, something. Not sure what. Okay, good game. Good job. I was 500 before you were born. Then you were born. So, Pizza Hut versus It's a Trap. Okay, the guy who had black, It's a Trap. He says, "Hi Ben, you told me never to play chess again. LOL." I was black, and that's it. He's 1549. His opponent's 1699, and it's on chess.com. And the time control is, it says 1/86,400. Does that mean it's a daily game? What does that mean? What world am I in? 1/86,400. Sasha Grey is streaming, but I chose you. Sasha Grey. Is that like the alter ego of Grishuk? Sounds like Sasha Grishuk. Oh, 1 move per day? All right. You've collected all the level 1 emotes. It's just showing me that now? Boo. And get rid of this. No, I've been streaming for too long. Boo, boo. Okay. So we'll flip it and reverse it. We have a Khan, Sicilian. Khan. Never play F3. Boo. Boo. I would have played D5, but D6 is probably better. Yeah, bishop C2 and bishop E. Yeah, bishop D3 is the wrong square for the bishop. That's just blocked by the pawns. So Lisa Simpson wouldn't like that. A blockaded bishop is of little value. The knight's protected by the queen, so you want to play bishop E2, bishop E3, keeping everything protected. This is a half-open file for white, so you don't want to put a bishop there. That's why he had to move it again. Okay? And, I mean, I thought nobody out-pizzas the hut, but it looks like they did this game. It's a trap. Okay. Queen C7 is legal. You can always play E5 and have a good position because the bishop's dead. I mean, so E5, D5 are always good. B3 is very risky because now if you play B5 or D5, the pawn is pinned because the knight's not defended. So in the long run, white's going to be okay, but in the short run, D5, B5, E5, D4, Papa John's. Now the guy's playing just really passive. Yeah, and again, this is the kind of move I see all the time. You're checking the guy gets out of check, and why's your queen on B6? You want to play B5. In fact, you could play B5 here, because after the trade, you play queen check attacking the knight and the king. If something goes to D4 to defend the knight, it's pinned. So B5, and you're putting pressure here. Black's better. Knight B4, black's better. Queen B6 just blocks your B pawn. So now after here, all you did was check, and people love to check. If you're going to check, write me a check. Don't do it on the chessboard. You know, go to Prague if you want to check. Come on. See, here's what you do. You guys in the chat that are complaining you don't have a woman, you know, for obvious reasons, because you're you. So go to Prague, meet a woman, marry her, and after 10 years, she was your checkmate, but now she's a stalemate. But still, you had some good years. Frankly, delicious. What is Prague? Boo, boo. Put a U and an E on it, then you'll know what it is. Boo, boo. Gained 300 points from that joke. That's right. Nikolic, wrong country, but you tried, Fenbeingold. Come on. Terrible. What's the worst comment I've ever read in the chat? All of them. Let's see. Martinian 324. It's like the Armenian version of Martin. Yeah. Because I'm the funniest, etc. Okay, India has forced mate. Very good. All right. E5. Anti-positional, but killing the bishop. So I accept it. E takes D, unkilling the bishop. Very good. F4, killing his bishop because you can take it. All right, and somehow we have an equal position. No, no, boo. F5, you have to play F5. Boo. No. Now white's better. You can never play F5, and you can never take. Somehow black won anyway, but... Queen D8, always retreat. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't play F5 there, because after FE, you open the F file, and you give yourself a pass D pawn. Then you have the connect 4. You got everything. F5, now it's all blocked up. Yeah, this is the famous Elvis Presley attack. It's all blocked up. Ooh, yay, yay, yay. Now you should play B5 and attack on the queen side. It's all blocked up. Yeah, you want your knight on E4. I wonder if this is better. Yeah, the engine says that's better. Put your knight on E4. B5, very good. Now black's doing great. Now it's like a good Najdorf. Very good. Now you got pressure on the queen's side. Good. Good. Okay, this is a tactical blunder that I assume you did not punish. Well, you might have. Now you didn't. The queen is now overworked, and now black has a winning tactic. If you're doing Puzzle Rush or Tactics Trainer, this position could pop up, and then you'd have to find the winning move for black, which I'm sure by me talking a lot, I'm giving you a chance to type it into the chat. He said as he took another sip of Perrier. That's right, rook takes c4. Yeah, rook takes c4, Papa John's. It's a rich tapestry. Everything's attacked and so forth. And black is completely winning. Plus a million. Okay, you play queen c7. Not quite as good. And now it's back to equal. Okay, and the game continues. c5's very, very dangerous and bad. Yeah, that's now it's very good for black. Got some back rank mate issues. Got the two bishops. Bishop e7's annoying. God damn. Okay, that stops all the stuff. Queen a5, that's not bad. Bishop d6 is excellent. Rook e8's good. a3's not as bad as it is. Queen d2 is aggressive. Bishop b4 is the best move. Man, look at this guy. He's running the bases. He got a triple. You think he can make it home? He has to slide. He has to jump over the bishop. Man, a lot of choir boys said that the last few years. Okay, so d6. That doesn't really do anything about this pawn. What could white have done about that pawn? Let's see if the choir joke boy got any. There we go. Lots of LOLs. That one I made up on the spot. That wasn't easy. Yeah. And the truth hurts. The engine says d6 is the best move, so what do I know? Queen takes, trade, and the engine says this ending is a draw. To me, it seems like black has two bishops and an extra pawn, but maybe I don't count very well. I don't know. Rook c8 was better, it said, but obviously you want to save your pawn. Yeah, here you should definitely play a5. Definitely. Got to retreat his bishop. Yeah, and this should just be a winning ending. You have two bishops and an extra pawn. You have a passed pawn. Yeah, everything's great. Move your king up. Yeah, textbook win. It looks like somebody's going to beat the hut here. It looks like he out-pizzaed him. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play that. I'd play bishop c6 check. But okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, here I would play bishop c6 and win his knight. If king e4, king e6. Again, it doesn't matter because it's so winning. Is bishop here mate? No. And bishop here is not mate. There's no mate, no matter where I put the bishop. Man, now it looks like Purina. I shouldn't be so dogmatic with my dog chow. Okay, so you played there, and it's an easy win. Too many pawns. Too many pawns. Making the guy suffer. Very good. Yay, a perfect game by... It's a trap. Not a perfect game, but complicated. I've collected all level 1 emotes. What? Stop breaking, Twitch. Boo, boo. Baseball metaphor? What did I say? I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. All right. And then it's Pam. Go Pam. It's not the Rocco bomb. Oh, it is. This is my game with Pam. So if you analyze it, you probably won't make fun of everyone because you can't make fun of Pam. But you'll still probably make fun of me, but whatever. Okay, so Pam's white, and the Rock Obama 101 is black. Black is 972, and Pam is 571. Go Pam. Now, I know that black won this game, but I'm still rooting for Pam somehow. Not sure how. Yeah. It's a trap. 100 centidues. That's how good the analysis was. Terrible. All right. So far, everybody's playing better than perfect. Knight c6 is frowned upon, but it's not that bad. You definitely don't want to play e6 because you want to get your bishop out. You blocked your bishop. And then here you want to play either c4 or bishop b5 Pam, knight bd2 so your c pawn can move. Now it's back to equality. Bishop g3, I agree. Knight e4, I almost agree. Yeah, you don't want to play bishop here and then take. So if you're going to take something, you should take this. Then after DE, you could play knight d2, and so forth. If you're going to take the bishop, you should have taken it last move. Whoa, knight c3, confusing the audience. Wow, now queen d3 is an interesting move. Bishop takes c7. That's a boring move, but okay. This is still about equal. Queen a3 is not the best move because your queen's not good over there. Pam could just play queen d2 and defend her pawn, but she sacks a pawn. Always sack a pawn. That move's bad because of the X-ray. X-rays are tough for lower-rated players, you know, seeing through things. When you're Grandmaster, you see through everything, right? I mean, for somebody like me, knight e5, that's like seeing through grandma's underpants. It's easy to do. So now you win another pawn, knight takes e5, queen takes e5. Otherwise, knight e5 is fine, but now with the queen on c3. So what white should have been trying to do is play e4 later. Queen e2, rook e1, and open the center that way. Yeah, now you're up 2 pawns. Frankly, disgusting. Exactly. Baby got the diarrhea. He can't believe my indolence. He's like, come on, man. Exactly. Delicious. Okay, that hangs another pawn. Super aggressive. He doesn't see it. Here comes Pam. No, attacking Pam's queen, but blundering the g7 pawn. So black was winning because black's up a few pawns. Now black's actually losing if Pam can find queen takes g7. And she did. Now black's lost. Now Pam can take this. She can take this. Yep, that's an excellent move. Pam's killing it. E takes e4 was better because you open up the e file to the king. So this is about equal. Ooh, d4. That move makes no sense. Black has to move this bishop out and castle. This just white wins. Every move wins for white now. Yeah, black should move the pawn back here. That pawn's just hanging. Rook here wins now, attacking f7. Taking with the rook wins. Rook d1 wins. I think the Barack Obama was thinking pawn takes, queen takes. And that's why he played d4. But that's a shallow and pedantic reason. Yeah, that's actually the best move. Yeah, now white's killing it. Okay, better was rook takes d4. Attacking the queen, winning a pawn, and stopping black from castling. That just hung the pawn there. Now it's like equal again. Rook takes f7. It doesn't work because it's defended too much. Yeah, you needed to play bishop f5. Try to remove the defender. Then you could take on f7 later, and the bishop's pinned. So after bishop f5, the engine says it's equal. But yeah, this is defended too much. Whoa! What? I mean, just taking this wins either way. The rook's just hanging. There's too much defense. Bishop takes wins. Rook takes wins. This, I mean, it just hangs the rook. Castles. Now white's completely winning by just taking the rook. Now white's up a rook and Pam's winning. And I think that you resigned here, if I remember correctly. No, I don't remember correctly? Okay. Now white's completely winning. So Pam pulled off a bluff there, and it worked. Queen d4, which just hangs the queen. So if Pam plays queen takes queen, she wins. The rook is pinned. You can't take back. So if Pam went here, she would have won the game because mate's coming, and she's up a queen and a rook. So queen d4 is a really bad blunder because the queen takes queen. Pam played another move that wins. It just doesn't win as easily. Well, king takes now. That wins the queen, and that's checkmate. I don't know which move is better. So Pam has mate in 1 with rook f8 mate. And queen takes queen check would probably also get the job done. But in time trouble, queen f8 check. Still winning for white. All right, and then rook f6 is a blunder that loses because there's a discovered attack. So e2 check is an annoying threat. White has a lot of moves that win. Rook e1 blocking the pawn, c3 attacking the queen. King h1 is the Kamsky kind of move. Get the king off of this diagonal so you don't get checked. Yeah, now after e2 check, black is winning. That's unfortunate. Yeah. So a terrible debacle. Pam should have won. Pam had mate. Pam was winning the queen. But as elections have shown over and over again, you just can't beat Barack Obama. It's just too tough. Frankly, ridiculous. Video game pianist is raiding. I raid you, you raid me, except I never raid you. Video game pianist has the best stream on Twitch. He's the most underrated person who ever lived, except for She Jesus. But other than that, you know, video game, etc. Yeah, he's got the best stream ever. Nobody's stream is better, especially mine. Yeah. All right, the stream's almost over. Thank God. Here's the last game. Frosty, the last game. Gotta change the layout because it thinks there's more than one game. There we go. All right. It's Frosty. Hooray for Frosty. Yeah. Yeah, Frosty was going to move a few weeks ago, but he decided not to. He was going to move to Chile. All right. This is a 3-minute game. It was a Berlin, he says. I thought I played the opening and middle game pretty well. Moves 21 and 24 were inaccurate. I blundered 2 draws. He missed both. Thanks. The engine says FE4 and rook g8 are bad. You should play rook f7 check. White's 1850 and black is 1846, and it's a 3-minute game. 3 minutes. All right, and don't forget, it's time for another train. It's not, but, you know, donate more. Texas is pretty chilly. All right, so we have a de Berlin, as he pointed out. This is one of the main lines. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe I am wrong. I thought they play bishop e7 here. They don't play knight takes e5. Knight takes e5 is okay. I think bishop e7 is more common. But okay, knight takes e5 is okay. Might even transpose. Yep, this looks like it just transposed into normal stuff. Yep, I've seen it all before. Very good play so far from everybody. White is very slightly better. Slightly. Yeah, a 3-minute game with, I mean, this is a great game. This is better than I've ever played in my life. Knight h4 is a good move. Refuting g4. Now black is better. Good. h5 is correct. Yeah, black has a big advantage now. White has 2 isolated pawns on the king side. Always play bishop f1. Took that. I don't like that move because you straighten his pawns out. And generally, I want to be reading Longfellow when I want things to get straightened out. I don't mind getting straightened my Longfellow out. But here I don't like it as much. But the engine says it's fine. So who am I to, you know, talk about your Longfellow? Takes, queen h2. Yeah, black's obviously better. The pawns aren't isolated, but they're still terrible. h6. This is a very high-level game. Very good game. Terrible. Excellent game. The game's too good, in fact. It's in too good of shape. I didn't analyze the game, did I? I did not. f5. That's crazy like Fox News. Too aggressive. I like it. Wow, king f2 is the best move. Who's playing king f2? Not you. Wow, king f2. Would I even think of king f2? I guess I would. Rook e4 I like. And then I don't know which way I would take, but d takes is better. I knew d takes was better because he played f takes. That's how I knew. All right, so black has connect 4, so we can see why black won. But yeah, after rook f1, white is okay. Oh, queen f4. I already threw up about an hour ago. Oh, God. Horrible. God. How do you play queen f4? Look at this rook. It's the worst rook in Christendom, and I'm an atheist. Rook f1 equal. Then we dominate the f-file. God damn. Frank, I haven't seen domination like that since date night. Yeah, and the engine says it's equal, but I'll probably take white because the black king is more exposed. This is just an easily winning rook and pawn ending. Passed pawn, weak pawn, better king, open files. The engine says 2.4. And it's equal material. That move's not great because rook f1 defends the pawn, but it's okay. Yeah, move your king up. Good. Good. Rook h1 is an excellent move because you got to get counterplay. You can't have keine Gegenspiel. You can only have ohne Schinken. So rook h1's great. That's why I don't like rook f8, wasting a tempo. Yeah, now good chances for a draw. Good chances. Very good chances. Now that's a very bad move. Now rook here check is a draw. If you take right away, that's bad because, black can penetrate. Okay, and it's not date night. Oh, he blundered. No. Rook f7 check, forcing the king away from e3, and then rook takes b7. Yeah, rook f7 check, draw. Probably I'll take white. Now it's just an easy win for black. Yeah, that one slip up, now black just crashes through. But if the king was on g4, then e3 check is impossible. And there's no king e4 to d3. There's no rook to the g2 or g1 square because the king's on g4. Such an easy move to miss. This check forcing the king to a really bad position because the e4 and this. Oh, what a blunder. And now the rest is easy. Yep. The king does the song about the sweet loving woman and the walk of life. You get the jokes. Rook f8 check is easier, but whatever. Well, not anymore, it's not. All right. And white resigned. Man, that was close. It could have gone, one way or another. It was going to get you. Man, that was like the Blondie attack. Confusing the audience. Papa John's. Yeah, that was a good game. I agree for 3 minutes. And then queen f4 was terrible. And then black allowed rook f7 check, which white did not avail himself to. Terrible. Jude is raiding. The Raiders of the Lost Ark. I was about to leave the stream, but everybody raided me. Jude usually has 3.5 viewers, but 35. No, I'm kidding. Jude has one of the best streams on Twitch. One of the best. The best, Jerry, the best. What's funny is Jude is 12, 13 years old, and he's still one of the oldest streamers on Twitch. It's amazing, but true. Osaka beats Serena? No, yay. That's what I meant. Yeah. Go Osaka. Let's see. Not to be a smoke blower. Somebody has to do it. What if it's 420? Why do you think Magnus has a hard time against So? I don't know. Everybody has a hard time against So. As Duda Rajabov. God damn. So's good. So occasionally is clearly the best player in the world. Then he decides he's no good again. Magnus is just always good. Okay, Magnus is like that. And then So's like, got you, bitch. Oh, I suck. That's what happens. 2 or 3 years ago, I don't remember. Maybe it was 4 years ago, but 2, 3, or 4 years ago, you can look it up. So won every tournament. Then he's like, that's enough. Now I suck again. So won in succession the Sinkfield Cup, the London Chess Classic, Tata Steel, and the U.S. Championship. Back to back to back to back. Those tournaments had Magnus and Hikaru and Fabi and Dominguez and Geary and Aronian, and he won all of them. He won all 4 of those tournaments clear first in a row. And then he's like, yeah, that's enough. I suck. Then he plays and comes in like 6th and draws all his games. How do you win the Sinquefield Cup, the London Chess Classic, Tata Steel, and the U.S. Championship in like a 6-month period? Then you're like, I'm no good anymore. Now I'll be number 10 in the world. Yeah, so occasionally Wesley just plays great. He just wins all his games and beats everybody. And then he's like, that's enough. Now I'm going to suck again, and Magnus could be the best. I don't know why he does that. He plays like at the highest level, but he can't do it forever. He has to stop. And Magnus always plays at the same level. Magnus always plays top 3 in the world. And when other people are top 3 in the world, they're like, okay, now I'm number 20. They're like, that's enough. So he's just inconsistent. But like so at his best, god damn, like 800 engine moves in a row and attacking and fast. He always had a time advantage like against Magnus. If you're going to win rapid games, you got to play fast. You can't have 1 minute and Magnus has 6. That's no good. But yeah, I mean, Wesley not only beat Magnus in 2 of these events, he also beat Magnus in the 960 World Championship, which was also surprising. Shocking. Yeah. I don't know, maybe sometimes Jesus is taking a nap. Maybe Jesus knows more than we do. Yeah, maybe it was a juicer. That could have been it. I don't know. By the way, similar is Fabiano. When Fabiano is at his absolute best, it's also better than Magnus. But how often has he done that? I'll tell you when he did it. When he won the Sinquefield Cup by like 30 points, when he was 7-0, and he did it last year at Tata Steel, not this year. Last year. Tata Steel last year, Fabi crushed everybody last year. So like 13 months ago. I mean, he won Tata Steel by like 8 points, and it was only 7 rounds. So when Fabi's playing on fire, he beats everybody. When Wesley's on fire, he beats everybody. But they're not on fire too much. They're only on fire a little bit. And then Magnus is just steady as a rock. See, that's why I had to give up gunfighting, right? I mean, look at that. Steady as a rock. Yeah, but I shoot with this hand. See, that was the problem. Magnus has had a bad year or so. He's 30, etc. Yeah. When is Levy Roseman on fire? If he smokes a cigarette and falls asleep, I guess, then, yeah, etc. Top GM fell out of top status. Radjabov did, then he came back. Shirov did. Morzevich did. They get old. Leko did. But, I mean, usually it's just age. It's not like you're 25, then when you're 28, you're no good. Usually it's in the 30s or 40s. A player who never got better, which I don't understand, is Etienne Bacrot. I think after he learned the Bacrot mate, that was it. Bacrot was a child prodigy, grandmaster at like 13 or 14, 2,700 in his early 20s, and then that was it. Like Bacrot at 20, 21, 22, never got better. His rating never went up. I mean, he could have been the highest rated player in the world if he kept going, like you assume Firouzja would, right? You assume in 5 years, Firouzja's the highest rated player in the world. But if Firouzja never gets any better and he has the same rating for 5 years, that's similar to what happened to Bacrot. I don't know why that happened to him. And Bacrot was really good as a teenager, early 20s, and then, I don't know. Truth hurts. The Toss subscribed. Also, he beat me in the Pro Chess League. Boo, Bacrot, boo. I think he beat me twice. Yeah, Wei Yi never... Yeah, Wei Yi's another one. What about Karyakin? What about him? Karyakin played for the World Championship. Karyakin's still the best of the best. Yeah. In Detroit, we call him carjacking. All right. Thanks for donating and bidding and doing my bidding. I will be not streaming tomorrow because Karen and I are going to North Carolina. And then I'll be back Friday night with my Friday night stream. Also, etc. I don't know who to raid. Who do I raid? Boo. I don't know. All right, I'm going to raid you. I raid you. You raid me. I hope you raid me. Give a dog a bone. See you guys in 2 days. Peace. Bye.